yesterday approved the budget. Today, the electorate look on confused.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
Yeah, it's a parliamentary mathematical gymnastics. With that, I can't think far. You know, if 137 can reject it, and that rejection is rejected by the majority, then 137 now also rescind, approve, and then reject the budget and approve what was once rejected. I'm confused, sir.
So the argument I've heard, and maybe we could put to the experts or to, I guess, who would come on the show, is that the presence of the first deputy speaker as MP for the Kwai in the chamber meant that there were 138 MPs in the House.
At time of the voting, how many were there?
So the order 109 and then Article 104, which we keep hearing a lot about, and we'll share some more details during our other segment of the show.
I just want to ask a few questions though, because so he was, yes, granted 138.
You know, I'm also a student of the whole parliamentary thing going on.
I just want to speak out.
And I told the majority leader, I told the minority leader, the deputy minority chief whip who was on the show over the past 2 days, that I'm also seeking to understand what this whole thing means for us. So people are sharing their opinions and their thoughts. Joseph Osei Wusu didn't vote. So that's the first deputy speaker, didn't vote. He counted himself present in his capacity as MP for Bekwai, meaning 138 MPs were present today in Parliament, a constitutionally agreed number for any decision to be taken. That's the argument of the majority.
He counted himself in his capacity
as present.
No, but when he was counting himself, was he counting himself as a speaker, now counting myself as an MP, or he was counting himself as an MP?
But how would?
How you counting yourself? Are you in your capacity as a speaker? Did you count yourself as an MP?
And that's one of the issues the minority is raising, that the Speaker of the House on any one particular day cannot vote during I think the word Haruna used was present and voting is one of the key terms.
Is it like dual citizenship?
The members of Parliament who should be present and voting at the time is one of the issues he's raising. So more thoughts coming in on Twitter. He didn't vote, Council. He counted himself as present to make up for the 138 MPs needed to be present, but did not take part in the vote. So when the vote was called, he did not vote.
So how many people voted? How many people voted? 137.
So the 137 who voted were the ones who carried the day.
Just like on Friday when 137 also voted and carried the day for the rejection.
But then the majority's argument is 137 was not the whole number needed, was not more than half the number needed to call for a vote. And that's why they think, the majority thinks that Friday vote was null and void and unconstitutional. And the minority is also making a similar call, saying that the first deputy speaker, in his capacity as speaker for yesterday, was not a member of the MPs. So he could not be counted as one of the MPs, and so cannot claim that he counted himself as a member of Parliament for Bekwai and yet sit out the voting process. So at best, Haruna Idrisu is saying it's 137, for which reason they think the motion is lost, because that's what the order says. The standing orders of Parliament mean that if on any particular issue there's a tie, then the matter is lost.
Can I ask a dumb question? In what capacity did Mr. Osei count himself? Was he counting himself as speaker at that moment, or he was counting himself as MP for Bekwai?
It's a question we would have to...
Another dumb question. This is the dumb question couch.
After all said and done, the drama in Parliament on Friday, yesterday, the back and forth press conferences here and there, what does that mean for the ordinary Ghanaian?
Beautiful dumb question.
Like, what does that mean for the ordinary Ghanaian?
It's a question everyone is seeking answers to. So Sadiq Adams is asking, is Ghana's parliament on double track now? Since majority attends their session and the minority have theirs. Not supposed to be funny, but
it is funny.
It's a double track. So it's almost like Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. There will be a tiebreaker because it's now 1-1. So we need a tiebreaker.
137.
Yes, so there has to be a deciding bout.
who has the deciding vote. So I've heard other concerns, and maybe I'll raise it to the panel and see what their thoughts are, because it's a numbers game, isn't it? Everyone wants to have the numbers to put their beliefs and their positions forward.
I think it's
but the e-levy is trending because of this exact same thing, because once the majority has managed to dribble the budget through, then it means all the proposals of government would be taking effect when the new financial year starts in 2022. So it means that the e-levy, so the finance minister is supposed to have made some revisions to the budget. We'll see if those have been done. We'll ask those pertinent questions. There's another slip on the screen on the standing orders of Parliament. So this is the matter of contention now. No question for decision in the House shall be proposed for determination unless they are present in the House not less than 1/2 of all the members of the House, and except otherwise provided in the Constitution, the question proposed shall be determined by the majority of the votes of the members present and voting. Present and voting.
Now say all that.
Mr. Speaker shall have neither an original nor a casting vote, and if upon any question before the House the votes are equally divided, the motion shall be lost. A deputy speaker or any other member presiding shall not retain his original vote while presiding. And this is one of the issues being contended, that if the first deputy speaker counted himself as an MP present in the chamber and yet did not vote, has he still violated Order 1093? He didn't vote, which is what Order 1093 is saying, that he shall not retain his original vote while presiding. Does he retain his original membership while presiding?
I can't wait for the Lufat conversation, because this is the diarrhea. This thing can give me diarrhea, man. Just thinking about
Does
this.
he retain his original membership? So does he retain his seat as MP for Bekwai, even if he does not vote?
Bring your dumb question again.
So, yes, my damn question again. So after all the papers, the outpour, like everything gone down, what does it mean for the ordinary Ghanaian?
That's a good question.
Does it mean that in February 2022, the e-levy takes effect? Are they the charges on momos? You know, these are the questions that people need answers to. So,
well, the team had said that they would make some revisions to the concerns raised by the minority with regards to the e-levy, the provisions for the tidal wave victims and Ajapa and all that. So we can interrogate those details a bit later, maybe, and then maybe we'll know what this whole back and forth means for Ghanaians.
Double track.
So is it double track?
Word of the day.
Interesting way to analyze things, actually. But yesterday, interesting things happened in the world of football. Have you ever watched what's the highest, please? Kofi just wants me to say Barca Bayern 8-0. But you see, apparently it's not even the worst scoreline in history. Yesterday, England beat Latvia 20.
Oh.
20 goals to 0.
Was it hockey?
20 unanswered goals. It was not
why?
Why?
Well, what was the halftime score?
When I saw this, I refreshed my page because I thought they wanted to surely it's 2-0.
Oh.
And no, I refreshed and refreshed.
8-0 at halftime.
It was a
8-0.
a rain of goals.
Every 5 minutes, the people were scoring. And then they up their game.
1 hour, no goal.
They up their game in the second half. 45 minutes, 12 goals.
Are they like you? Well, what do you mean? Are they like me?
Charlie, they must investigate the score. You know, they must investigate the score.
Why?
It's just weird. 20-0. Why?
It's football, and the other team was on the pitch as well. Latvia was on the pitch as well.
When did they stop celebrating? I mean, after 4-0, you really should not be celebrating a game. You know,
really?
You should, when you score, you just nod.
Where were you when Bayern beat?
No, but 20 is too much.
Look, the Lionesses, they were on fire yesterday.
I want the breakdown. How many hat-tricks, things like that.
So,
Yeah, I'm interested.
three hat-tricks from 3 players.
What?
Med, White, Hemp.
Mm.
Oh, actually, Hemp scored 4 goals. Toon 1, Stanway 52nd minute penalty. Carter. England scored 2 goals. Scott, so there's a player in the England team called England. Scott scored 1 goal. Russo scored a hat-trick as well. So how many hat-tricks am I seeing? 1, 4 3 hat-tricks, and what do you call 4 goals in one by one player?
Hat-trick plus 1.
So a hat-trick plus 1. What's a hat-trick plus 1? Yes. What's the official football term for a hat-trick plus 1? Is what I should do. Yes. I want to know.
Let me give you the timeline. When they so the first goal was in 3 minutes, 1-0. And then 6 minutes, 2-0. 9 minutes, 3-0. 12 minutes, 4-0. 16 minutes, 5-0. 23 minutes, 6-0. 43 minutes, 7-0. Even before they scored, 44 minutes, 8-0. Then they went to drink tea. And then when they came back, 48 minutes, 9-0. 52 minutes, 10-0. 56 minutes, 11-0. And then they did some substitutions. 61 minutes, 12-0. 67, 13-0. 71 minutes, 14-0. 76 minutes, 15-0. 82 minutes, 16-0. And then 17, and then 8. Charlie, the goals were coming like 1 minute.
Every 1 to 5 minutes, there's a goal.
19-0, 84. 20-0, 88. What the
It was a thrashing.
How would you say
it
this in Ghana?
It was a hopping. What word do you want?
Achowame.
Ajiame.
No, she's too soon.
Achowame. 20-0. Okay, if you missed that game, please maybe find a replay. I would want to watch it again because 20-0. If anybody close to us was beating 20-0,
no.
If our national team lost 20-0,
don't come back home
to anybody. They shouldn't come back.
Valerie said they shouldn't come back.
Valerie said they shouldn't come back home. But I mean, you have to feel for Latvia to concede 20 unanswered goals. It must be quite frustrating. And I'm guessing that in the first half, up to about 15 minutes, considering the number of goals they had conceded by then, the morale would have tanked. And I'm sure it went pretty fast downhill from
there. If it was in Africa, they would have opened an investigation. I'm telling you.
If an investigation
happened in Africa, they would have opened an investigation and said, no, these Africans, no, there's something wrong. Let's see what happens with this game. But I'm telling you that would have happened.
You know where there will be no investigation?
Where?
When you win a cheesy pizza.
Okay, that one there.
So Cheesy Pizza is partnering us to bring you cheesy questions. Our cheesy question for today: who won the Best Farmer Award in 2020? Who won the Best Farmer Award in 2020? Fastest fingers first. If you know the answer, send it to our WhatsApp number 055 556 055 556 is the number. So send your answer to the question, who won the Best Farmer Award in 2020, to our WhatsApp number now for a chance to win a voucher to get delicious pizza from Cheesy Pizza. And that wraps our social media trends for today. Coming up, conversations on diarrhea and what you can do to help yourself out of that very unpleasant situation. We'll be interrogating the issues concerning what happened in Parliament, what has been happening in Parliament over the past few days, particularly culminating in events where the majority passed and approved the 2022 budget on the floor yesterday. We'll be looking into issues concerning Stephen Asamoah Boateng's resignation at SIGA and his throwing in his hat in the race for NPP chairmanship. Other conversations around mining, conversations around the gas challenge that was held yesterday, and the winners will be in the house. You don't want to miss this packed breakfast that we have all lined up to serve you, especially on this Wednesday morning. Time for a break. We'll be right back.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the breakfast.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, man, I'm a pumpy, so I was suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone.
All right, what's on your mind this morning? Today is the 1st of December. Wow, 30 days to end 2021. Wow, if today's your birthday, happy birthday to you. Last month of the year, and we can see 2022 by God's grace just around the corner. What do you make of what's happening in the news? What's on your mind this morning? I'm looking at the trends on Twitter. On top is Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader, and then you have Apostle Joshua Selman. I understand he's a man of God that you want to be listening to. Mahama is also trending. Minority is trending. Ghanaians is trending. Joe Wise, yeah, Deputy Speaker, also trending. MP for Bekwai. Bagbin is trending. Current Speaker away on a medical review in the Middle East. Then we've got what else is trending? Chelsea and Manchester United is still trending. Why? The game ended days ago. Lewandowski is still trending. A lot of outrage in Germany about Lewandowski's inability to win the Ballon d'Or. We've got MTTU trending. I believe that's Manifesto song. Yeah, album. Nanado is trending. So these are the big trends today. What do you think of what's happening in Parliament? So on Friday, we woke up, well, Friday evening ended with not just the National Science and Maths quiz finals with Prempeh College taking the day, but the news that the minority had rejected as a budget. And there was a lot of talk in social media, Twitter sphere, everywhere. And then yesterday, we get information that the budget has been passed by the majority this time. And what's on your mind this morning? We want to hear from you. 054 366 4264. All right? 054 366 4264. Give me a call right now. Talk to me. Unload what's is on your mind. And if you want to talk about something else apart from the budget, too, no problem. My ears are here to listen to you. All right? 055 366 4264. What's on your mind this beautiful Wednesday morning, first day of December, with all that's buzzing around in the news? You want to talk about 20-0 that England gave to Latvia, or you want to talk about the budget, which was formally rejected and now approved, apparently? You want to talk about anything else in the news? We'd love to hear from you. 054 366 4264. And while I wait for you to give me a call, I want to read a couple of the messages here. So let's see why Haruna Idrisu is trending. So big trends up there. Minority Leader Honorable Haruna Idrisu says majority decision to approve the budget is a flagrant disregard of the same constitution they quoted against the minority. He's disappointed in the conduct of the first Deputy Speaker for including himself in the vote while presiding. That's one view there. And then you have another view. Today's decision is a constitutional nullity because the Speaker has no original or casting vote. But then you have other views. People believe that what he did was right. He just counted himself but did not take part in the vote. And I'm sure we'll find some non-partisan voices who can give us the 411 on this particular situation. So give me a call while you can. 054 366 4264. Let me see what else is trending in the news today. Normally the police always has something new happening. When you go to their website or their handle on Twitter, you'll see exactly what they're doing, and I'm going to check them out again just to find out what's happening as far as they're concerned. They're very, very busy these days informing us as to what the developments are in terms of law and order. But the big news definitely has to be the budget issues, and we will be having in the studio to discuss this Kofi Adams Boem. But let's get to the lines right now. 055 366 4224. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Samuel from Taifa.
Nice one. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
I want to contribute about the budget.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes, what I believe that the tax and other things that this government have improved, I think is very good. It's very good, but to inform the people how they are going to pay and controversial, you have to inform them well. Mm-hmm. That's the main problem, because I'm an elderly person. I need to pay tax. I drive Uber. But in my own knowledge, I have to pay tax. Even if every day people make a payment 100 days, if the government gets just 50 pesos, it's income or it's income. The government will benefit it from inside.
All right.
But for them to inform the people how they are going to pay the tax, a lot of people have been lied to the public because of the tax. They lie to them. Some of them say, oh, 25%, 15%.
Okay.
They say, no. So the government have to come out in public.
All right.
And express themselves to the public so that they will know how the taxpayers they are going to pay.
Awesome. So, Sammy, your point is that
it's controversial.
Okay. So you say taxes are good, but the communication has to be clearer. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Sammy from Taifa expressing his views. Thank you so much. What's on your mind? Give us a call. Give me a call. 054-366-4264 if you want to talk about the toll booth operators who are threatening all kinds of action. They say, listen, you people said that we're taking away the tolls and easing traffic, but there's no traffic. And then the vehicles from Niger and Cote d'Ivoire are wrecking our roads. I heard somebody speaking like that from the toll booth operators. And so the tolls are supposed to fix these things. And how come you've just all of a sudden canceled so many jobs and stopped people from working? Is that what's on your mind? I'd love to hear from you. If it's the budget, let's hear from you as well. 055-366-4264. 054-366-4264. The number is on the screen. I'm going to the lines right now. Good morning. Your name, where you're calling from, what's on your mind?
Hi, good morning, Mr. Day.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Jazzy Paul. I'm calling from Medina.
Jazzy Paul, greetings to you, and I hope everything is good in Medina. What's on your mind, man?
Mr. D, this e-levy tax is a very serious confusion that this government is trying so hard to push down our throats. Multiplication of taxation is what they seem to implement. There's been series of examples that have been given. If you and I today should go to any shopping mall and you decide to buy any valuables in terms of whether, let me just simplify it by saying that maybe you will buy 200 cedis worth of goods. You and I, you buy 200, I also buy 200. And then you decide to pay those goods which are already taxed by cash. You are not paying any extra 1.7% levy on it.
Yeah.
But assuming I decide to pay with my Momo, money I have received on my Momo wallet that has already been taxed by transfer onto my wallet. And I then in turn pay for those goods with my money that has already been taxed, that is on my wallet, taxed again by 1.75%. That's double taxation. So multiple taxation.
And that's what you don't want. Would you want them to lower the 1.75 to some other figure, or you want it scrapped completely, Jazzy Paul?
It must be scrapped completely because we're already being taxed.
All righty. Well,
yes.
That's Jazzy Paul.
If you look at the taxation elements of the telecommunication system, you will notice that you pay 1% already.
Okay.
So indirectly, we are going to be forced to be paying 2.7%, 2.75%.
Okay,
that's
so
what we are going to be paying.
Jazzy Paul is 100% against double taxation in his view. So, but thank you very much. Regards to everybody in Medina. More calls on this segment. It's called "What's on Your Mind." The number is 054-366-4264. The number is on your screen. 054-366-4264. E-levy. Formerly rejected, now accepted, or passed budget, the toll operators, the brouhaha. What's on your mind? You want to talk about 20-0, England versus Latvia, the ladies? And, hey, what's on your mind is what I want to find out from you. Still to come on our conversation. Well, let's go to the lines right now and see who is there. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Albert, calling from Medina,
ERS.
Thank you, Albert. What's your mind?
All right. Okay, Albert is my name.
Turn the volume on your TV off, and we speak through the phone.
My mind is that we were told that the budget for 2022 was read. All right, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yes, now we can talk through the phone. Go ahead.
Okay, and they have started implementing what is meant for next year, this year, actually on this toll booth. I'm not convinced of these parliamentarians or our political elite. They are confusing now. Budget meant for 2022 being implemented this very year, 2021, which is not ended yet. That's the toll booth fee is not fair.
Right.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Short and sweet, crisp and straight to the point from Medina. Albert, thank you. And thank you for contributing to What's on Your Mind. Still to come, headlines with our guests, Kwesi Chedakwa and Oscar Provençal. Kofi Adams, MP for Buen, is scheduled to be on the show as well. And we've got some wonderful lifestyle vibe with Valerie. And we're talking also about the winners of the gas challenge quiz competition they were here recently, and we now have winners. But before that, let's take you to Nikuto in the Anglonga district, because the people there are requesting for something, to deal with something. What is that something? Watch and find out.
Thank you very much and welcome to this very special edition of Keep an Eye on #GTV Breakfast. So today we are taking a little bit of a different turn on Keep an Eye. It's the year of roads. Everyone is aware of that. And right now I'm on the main road that links Nikuto to Abotoy. And presently at Nikuto, what you see behind me is a road that has been blocked off because waters from the Avu Lagoon enter the Lake Nikuto here and submerges the road. I understand there is a school right behind me for pupils up to class 6. And what happens is when they need to attend JHS, which is right in front of me, they need to cross this lake, which has submerged the main road, in order to attend school. So where I am currently is the main road, which has been submerged by the lake. I have with me here one of the residents in the area who is going to give us a brief on the situation. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Please, your name?
My name is Baho Michael.
Okay, Michael, tell us, how long have you been living here?
I'm living here for 48 years.
This place has been like this for approximately 40 years. Is that true?
It's true. It's true.
Okay. And, have you appealed to any authorities, for instance, your MC and the MP, which the authorities in charge? And what did they tell you when you told them this is what you are facing, and so they should come to your aid?
Oh, it's true. Every year, when the flood comes like this, we went to the authorities, and they also came. But the only thing they told us is to manage it. They will do it for it. They will do it for us, but they are not doing it.
They don't say why they are not doing it.
No, they say next year they will do. Next year they will do. That's all they have been saying, telling us.
Now that the waters are here and this is the main road, how does it affect, for instance, your livelihood, those who stay in this area? Because this whole road behind us is completely blocked off. How do you guys survive here?
It's a problem. It affects us a lot. You know, every day, you know we are farmers here. We are farmers here. So getting our farm produce to the home becomes a problem. And also when our women going to the market, they have to go to market and sell our farm produce. And coming back with food stuff and other things. But when coming home, it's very difficult for us.
Okay, so is there, if they don't use the side, is there somewhere else they can pass so they don't have to face this situation?
There is nowhere we can pass rather than this road.
This is the only
this is the only road we have.
And I don't know what to say about your plight. This is very, very disheartening. So at this moment, I'm going to give you a chance to appeal to the authorities once more, and so if they come to your aid as soon as possible, that will be good.
We are appealing to our authorities, especially the president representative is here in person of the district chief executive, Honorable Seti Yomovu, and our MP, Honorable Kwamisefa. They should come to our aid, and other individuals who can help us to come and aid, help us construct a beach for us. That's my.
Thank you so much. I see somebody crossing. I'll speak to her soon. But just before I grab her and all that, I just want to ask, as President, you yourselves, have you tried any little contribution to, in order to maybe build a bridge here?
Yes, we have tried. We, as you know, we have contributed some money. So we have blocks, we have stone with us, and we are appealing to our authorities to help us with cement, iron rod, and all that to construct the bridge for us.
Thank you so much. So I happen to see a lady here. I don't know how I feel about a lady crossing these waters. Maybe I should carry her on my back and take her to the other side. But she's probably used to it. Okay, so if you could just face this way for me. Please, your name?
I'm Vivian Badegbe.
Hello, Vivian. Thank you so much for speaking to us. What do you do, Vivian?
I'm hairdressing.
You are into hairdressing. Okay. You also stay at Nikuto?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that the road has been submerged, how has it affected your business?
Because of the rain, people don't come out to do their hair again. So I'm also losing my business. So I would like to plead with you guys to help us with our way. Probably we are suffering too much.
So now that your customers are not able to come to you, are you able to go to them and do your business?
Oh, no, please. I'm not able, because people, when I'm crossing, I'm afraid. You see, I don't know. I'm afraid when I'm crossing, I'm afraid.
Oh, but I thought you did really, really well, though, when you're crossing.
I was afraid. I can't cross it. It's very difficult. Some people, when they get sick at night, they have to go to hospital or clinic bar because of the rain. Because of the rainy season, so they are not able to cross again. And the baby's mommies too, they're not able to cross because when someone is sick, it's too slippery, so they're not able to cross. It's very difficult when crossing. You see, pregnant women, they have to take care. But because of this thing, so we are suffering, and they also can't go to their clinic or check up or everything like that.
Thank you so much, Vivian, and I'm sorry about your business. So hopefully, now that we've been here, the authorities will see this and build a bridge as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Good morning, Kuku Unkole. Okay, so this is Samson, and he's also from Nikuto. Sir, please go ahead.
Oh, madapa. Aba nia bakpopon fia jojine nya ba marakane. Amo ya gbagban fia ajiji. Ampiampi over fia hukaka ajiji. Roko pu dagbanani. Asablima no oli roko gbli. Ba doya yo gbona oga. Kaka awo. To nya to gbe won li voda se nya ofo won le mi re je nya ba choro fia. Nye tu tagba hu de vate. Tam ye kukuram. Bare duklola na kpere mianchi no dumo ya na miala bana oboyo nglo bana ro ko boyo oga vuo awo nyom nyore viso fia nye popo blana atoje na tamia fia ko gala tamia kukuran na mara nglo bana vi fia ba awo o bona oga awo ya ro ko blana ni fia na na o mo woni tamia re kuku na duklola bare na kpere mianchi na mi o mia po boje fia ra adogora omogodo mi o mia ya shi agbona wala mi ga ta adona ro ko nye cha ta fara kanyan sakpa afi na akoi nya soro afuko pamula o bona o tanyi o yo funji afi na noduji ta mi kukura mi ko doka ta mi kukura bare mi apa duplola gare le gere na pare mi anchi no onu anami na mare be oga gba ye oga twela o ya nya ko bro vivi mi gbejonu ta apako nya ma da ba mi am ko fia ajojina bono va we na mi lo
Thank you so much. So I've just been joined by the assemblyman for the area. Good morning, sir, and thank you for speaking to us.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Please say your name.
Honorable Frederick Fiado, assemblyman for Azanwe Electoral area.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable. So how long have you been assemblyman?
2 terms right now.
So 2 terms, and we understand this road has been like this for a very long time now. What appeal have you made to authorities to come to your aid in terms of fixing this situation right now?
Thank you a lot. When I came to the office, I wrote a letter to our DCE when we are in the Keta. But right now we have cut from the Keta to Angloga District Assembly. Still, I also write a proposal to the DCE to help us, and then we are on the way to solve the problem for them.
Why is it taking them so long?
Okay, it is a problem because we know that to do this linking route, it is a problem for assembly, and then there is a common fund. When we have a common fund, and then we can do a lot of project, and then we fix this project into our 4 years development plan. Now, when we are waiting for the common fund, we know that this project can be solved.
Can you give an estimate, maybe like how many, approximately, maybe how many months, or will it take a year before work can start? Because I'm looking at the situation now, I have a feeling you may have to start in the dry season. So maybe, can you give us a timeline, maybe how soon they can start work? If you have that knowledge, yes.
Okay, thank you. We are waiting for the water to dry down before we can do what we want to do for them. Because we want a bridge, we don't want a culvert. When the water is flowing, it will be flow very fast so that it cannot cross the road. That is why we are waiting for water to get down small before we. But I can assure that when by early January we can start something.
I want you to give that assurance to people that like this is not just another promise, that this is actually going to happen, and then yourself are going to make sure it happens. You want to give that guarantee.
Thank you a lot. The guarantee, I can say that the water should be dry before we can do it. That is what I say. By the January, I will make sure that this can be solved.
So it's going some time on the Keep an Eye team. We'll come back and just see how the situation is going for the people here, and hopefully they'll work on the road network as well, because getting to this area was also quite a hassle, and then there are some parts which are blocked as well. So I want to thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. So this is the assemblyman for the area who has given us, he has shed some more light on where exactly the problem is, making sure that this road is fixed as soon as possible, and why it's taking them so long. He's giving us a timeline. He says as early as January, once the riverbed dries, then they'll start work as soon as possible. He has given a guarantee, so we just want to assure the people, the MC and everybody is on the job. They are come to do this as soon as possible. Thank you.
And they call you Jay.
staying on and welcome to the headlines segment. Remember, this show is made possible by Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shoulder Quality Paint and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. I've been joined by two gentlemen to help us delve into the issues captured in the papers. We are going to look at the matter of the approval of the 2022 budget. The Ghanaian Times is carrying a story of an apartment that has been reserved for President and Vice President visits to Kumasi, which has been abandoned. We'll look at that issue as well. And we'll also interrogate a gang rape case which has been adjourned to December. Another story is captured in the newspapers. At the table this morning, for my immediate left, King Kwesi Dakwa, media, brands and culture specialist, KKD.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
I love your hairstyle.
Thank you, I like it too. And right next to him, legendary prolific actor Oscar Ponsah is also at the table. Oscar, good morning, welcome.
Hi, my name is Oscar Ponsah.
Everyone is doing their voice incantations this morning. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining our table. We are looking into the stories captured in the stories, and you can join the conversations at any point on our WhatsApp number 05555-61034, or reach out to us. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, or you can contact us on Twitter and Instagram. The hashtag is GTV Breakfast. Okay, so we'll start with the Ghanaian Times, and it leads with the story of apartment for President and VP's visits to Kumasi that has been abandoned. The story is on page 16. I'll read some highlights. An apartment building to accommodate President and Vice Presidents whenever they visit Kumasi now appears to be a white elephant. They put that in quote. The apartment was built in 2006 by former President John Ejikun Kufuor to accommodate the President or Vice President anytime they visited Kumasi that would require them sleeping over. It has not been in use for years by past and present governments, as the Presidents or Vice Presidents have been sleeping in hotels anytime they visit or they spend nights in Kumasi. The apartment is close to the official residence of the Ashanti Regional Minister at the Regional Coordinating Council, RCC, at Nshaisu in Kumasi. Interestingly, 5 years after assumption of office, the Regional Minister, Simon Osei Mensah, has also not used his official residence. 5 years along the line, nothing seems to be done to rehabilitate the bungalow, let alone for the presidential apartment, which also needed some renovation work to be utilized. A visit to the residence saw the place taken over by weeds, giving an indication that the buildings look more of a white elephant. However, the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Director, Emilia Botri, said the apartment were not a white elephant. She said budgetary estimates had been forwarded to Accra, and that had been captured under the budget that was recently read. Though she would not mention how much, would have to go through some processes to be accepted, after which there would be issues of tender, and she was hopeful that renovation work on the facilities could take off early 2022. That story is on page 16 of the Ghanaian Times. Gentlemen, a presidential villa abandoned in Kumasi, and the Deputy Regional Coordinating Council Director telling us that there's a plan to renovate the facility, which has not been in use for 5 years. What are your thoughts on this? I'll start with you, KK.
Well, was it a need or a want? That's the first question I ask. For everything that we're using the public purse on, there has to be a needs assessment. So if it really was a need, will it be sitting down and not being used? So in a country where people are dying because you're trying to get to a hospital and there are no beds, we're able to forget about our needs and look after the wants for a few. It's important that we look after the safety of our president, our vice president, our ministers, but also our children. And if we have that much money to put up buildings like that and just leave them somewhere to go to waste, then really, I think we have got our priorities wrong. Because I cannot understand why, if they really can be using hotels in Kumasi and putting money back in the economy, so money is going through the system, they need to go and build a place. I don't understand it. You know, I just don't understand it. You know, everybody wants to build a a house in their village so that when they go to a funeral, they have a place to stay. But if you're not going to funerals really often in that village, or you're not looking at the possibility of retiring and going to live there, you might as well just use a hotel. So I'm beginning to just wonder, what are our needs as a nation? And what are our wants? And are these the wants of the people in power, or are these the wants of the people in the nation? Because they say politics is the art of making your personal wants look like the public need. This is really worrying. If it's in use, great, but I really would not also have a place reserved just for the president and the vice president. I would expect that, in that statement, it would say other dignitaries can use it as well, because to put a house somewhere, as the Arabs do in Kensington now, and only come there during the summer and leave it empty, I mean, if you have money to waste, you can do that. But I don't think Ghana has money to waste. So I'm very disappointed with even the decision to build that place in the first place, especially when we have quality hotels in Kumasi where we can have adequate security. In fact, if you come to Accra, when the President of the United States' wife came to Ghana, where did she sleep? When Prince Charles came to Ghana, where did he sleep? They found that they can get more security because of the infrastructure of the hotel and the way they're placed than going to build some place where they would have to use many, many more people. So I don't know what needs assessment was made, and I don't know which people were in charge of the needs assessment, but I wouldn't say the people who ordered that it be built are the ones who have failed. It's the ones who passed that needs assessment to say, let us forget about hospitals for a while. Let us forget about roofing the schools for a while. Let's forget about fixing our roads for a while. Let's go build a place where when the president and the vice president visit Kumasi, they can live more comfortably.
Let me bring Oscar in here. Do you think a needs assessment failed in this instance to put the facility up?
Well, I'm not privy to any information regarding needs assessments, and I presume one would have been done. I think that this basically feeds into, number one, the security of the president when he goes there. Issues bordering on national security surround every single president, and it depends how we value our presidents as well, and their security, and what it means when the security of a president is compromised. What could that do to a nation? And we know what the repercussions of that could be. So maybe in the wisdom of national security, they wanted a place for the president. But secondly, it feeds into this issue of wastage in our country, and where we see that we're talking today about presidential apartments or a villa or whatever it is to house a president, but it goes beyond that. We have seen on so many occasions edifices that are left, untouched, for many, many years. You look at the apartments that have, the apartments that have been built. You can just look around. Hundreds of projects are left one after the other. You're talking about 2006. We're in 2021.
15 years.
15 years. I mean, every unoccupied building by that point in time will have some structural defects. And so we're looking at wastage. I don't know if you can go as far as causing financial loss to the state, but we need to get serious as a nation when it comes to some of these things. Because as Kwesi was saying, there are a lot of needs that are needed in this country. And so cutting out wastage is critical. If you look at the Auditor and Accountant General's report, they're talking about 12 billion Ghana cedis wasted. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to understand what 12 billion Ghana cedis could do to this country in terms of development, whether it's infrastructure or whatever. If we can cut down the wastage, we'll be able to do a lot more for this country. So I think that going forward, that kind of attitude must stop. And the question is,
who's going to make it stop. And we, the citizens, have every right to voice out our disgust at the way politics is being done in this country and the amount of wastage that is going on. People are dying every single day because somebody goes to a hospital, he can't afford his medication. Basically, you hear these stories every day. And so we need a sense of sensitivity. And I think that there's a huge gap, you know, between our political elite and the sensitivities of those on the ground, because they get caught up in this political bubble that every need or want of theirs is catered for. They don't pay electricity, they have bodyguards, they have all these trapments that they have there, and there's a big gap between them and the citizenry. So we need to look at the way the whole country is, the whole system, the political system is structured. And I'm sure if all those perks were taken away and they now have to pay their bills, they will get closer to where the citizenry lie. Because you look at it and somebody comes to office, let's say, goes to Parliament. In 4 years, he collects what? What's it called?
Ex
gratia. How much? The last count it was 400,000. I hear they were pushing for 600,000. But you see, when you go to look at what pensioners go through after working for 40 years, and you look at the amount of what a pensioner will get, some of them actually faint and have heart attack when they open their letters. Yes, that's the truth. After working for 40 years, somebody comes in for 4 years and gets that kind of money. So we have to really relook at the way our system has been shaped.
The key thing I picked from both your submissions is the fact that security of our president and vice president has to be paramount. Should we be able to predict where our president or vice president will be staying for any particular stay? Could that be the reason why that facility may, and I'm not holding forth for anybody, but I'm just presenting an opposing view, could that be the reason why it may not be ideal for security reasons?
If I may say, if you are president and maybe there's a presidential suite at Golden Tulip, you know, when the American president came here, they commandeered the whole hotel. I think it was Holiday Inn. They commandeered the whole. That's how much they value the security. You know, because I keep on saying the repercussions that we are going to have. And if you look at what happened in Rwanda, yeah, a president's plane was shot down and it sparked the whole Rwandan genocide. So taking national security and the security of the president is paramount. But when it comes to how is that edifice, you know, going to be utilized, that becomes a different thing. But I don't think we can compromise on the security of the president.
A question about, you think it's safer to have a building somewhere for the president?
I'm asking if it is.
Well, if you have a building somewhere, once people know where the building is, they know where the building is. And that is why you employ people in security and have them constantly trained. The best security people in the world right now are not in America, they're in Israel. You train people for a job. So wherever he is, if people do their job, he will be safe. I mean, who are the richest nations in the world? And are they building villas everywhere the president is traveling to? You know, we've got to cut our coats according to our size. We don't have much. And you know, I love it when we say, let's worry about the security of the president. No, a great nation is the one that worries about the security of its vulnerable, its children, and its old age pensioners. So if you're constantly looking at the security of your president and his kinsmen and the people around him are not looking at the security of the vulnerable, the children, and the old aged, then why the hell are you even worrying about the security of those who worry not about the security of your children? Because this money is wasted. This is not a need. If it were a need, it would be in use. Kolebu is a need. You see, Kolebu is overused. Tema General Hospital is a need. It's overused. The motorway, it's a need. It's overused. When you see a need, you don't need anybody to tell you. Water is a need. Somebody may say champagne is a need when you have money. But when you're thirsty, you will still drink water. So let us have clarity. And let's, tamper everything we do with some modicum of wisdom to understand that you can never place your wants before your needs.
Wants and needs, and the needs for the Ghana Medical Association are sharply different from the apartment for the president and the vice in Kumasi that has been left unoccupied for 5 years. The GMA is asking for a scale-up in efforts to prevent the importation of the new COVID variant called Omicron, and that story is also captured on page 17 of the Ghanaian Times. I'll read portions of it. The Ghana Medical Association GMA has implored the government to step up efforts at limiting importation of COVID-19 at all entry ports of the country with the emergence of the Omicron variant. It said in a statement jointly signed by its president, Dr. Frank Srebo, and General Secretary, Dr. Titus Bayu, respectively, that strengthening the mitigation measures was critical to prevent the country from plunging into a fourth wave of the pandemic. And so they are saying, recognizing the downward trend in active cases of COVID-19 in recent times and increased availability of vaccines in the country, the GMA lauded all stakeholders for the feat. Nonetheless, it's urging government to continue with efforts at securing more vaccines for the nation as the Christmas festivities approached. The association is also encouraging Ghanaians to avail themselves for vaccination. And they've also spoken about outbreaks of yellow fever in parts of the country, and the GMA urging persons living in the affected areas to cooperate with the ongoing vaccination exercises. So, key things being called for by the GMA, stepping up efforts to prevent importation of the Omicron variant, because they're saying there has not been any recorded case of that variant in Ghana yet. So, a key call going out to government and the public to do their bit to prevent importation of the virus and also to boost our own immunity and resistance to severe illness and death. I'll start with you, perhaps, because I started with KKD. I'll start with Oscar on this one. Your thoughts on the GMA statement?
Look, I mean, so long as there are going to be variants, we still have to keep ourselves, on the ready, because we know what this virus has done to economies and how it has affected, the world. So, yes, it's a good call. I think that we need to make sure that we are, our guards are not down. I understand that South Africa has been locked down to a certain degree. And you can imagine what that has done to the economy there. I'm within the creative sector, so I checked what's happened to their sector. And they've been devastated. They were on the road to recovery. All the hotels were full. It's affected their hospitality industry, and everybody is shipping out, And so it really affects them. So we shouldn't let our guards down. We should still observe all the protocols, tighten as, the protocols at the airport and so forth. And, I mean, it's not rocket science. This is the fourth variant. So it means, or the fourth wave.
And each one sounds worse than the last one.
Exactly. And we keep on saying, the same things over and over again. Apparently this one is 25 times more deadly than
Delta.
Than the Delta. So obviously, there's more risk there.
Okay.
I don't know, you need to confirm, because I saw a video, and these things on Facebook or on social media, you can't really verify. But apparently there are no recorded cases of Omicron in South Africa. It needs to be verified. If there are no cases, why are they locking down? And so, we just need to manage it
flights
properly.
From South Africa
exactly.
And to South Africa because of Omicron.
Plus, I believe they were blaming the British, because the British, started the whole thing. So, but I think let's keep our people as safe as possible and do whatever we can to do so.
KK.
Yeah, first I'd like to go to the way the story was written. I think the writer found a phrase that they wanted to use and were so hard-bent on using the phrase that they just put it there. Nobody is importing a virus. You know, the way that they're saying do something about not importing, you know.
Limiting importation.
Limiting importation.
Of COVID-19.
Who is importing so we limit? So really, let's stop this contrived way of writing. Which paper is it?
Ghanaian Times.
The editor needs to call the writer and have a discussion with them. Let's have some clarity when we write, because we have a job to do. I mean, we're holding Parliament accountable, we're holding the doctors accountable, but we in journalism must hold ourselves accountable too. Talk about the fact that we need to, you know, do something about the movement of people. No, the movement. Because essentially what he wants to talk about, movement of people into the country. But you say importation of the virus.
Well, language is important.
I believe it's a phrase that has become very popular when it comes to
just because it's popular doesn't
the
make it
cases
right.
that are recorded at the entry point.
But we don't call it importation. You see, are we always just going to say because some English kid wrote something in The Guardian, that is what we should also write? Or are we able to also think and be original thinkers and contribute to world knowledge? That's a big question.
So you think that could have been phrased a bit
Write
better?
it in a way where everybody can see clearly what you're talking about. You want to talk about border security. Essentially, that's what the story is about. Border security. You know, so now that we've brought it down to border security, we have a problem as a people. Our problem as a people is that people are so broke and so hungry that if some stranger walking along the border of Ghana needs one broke Ghanaian to help them come into the country, they will.
Because officially, as we speak, our borders remain closed.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The border is closed officially.
The land borders,
however,
remain closed.
People will help those who are ill to come in. And that is how a lot of, you know, disease came in earlier when this whole coronavirus story began. Let me tell you what, if coronavirus had started in Africa, Africa would be closed to the world. The Western world would have shut Africa out of their ecosystem. But once it wasn't from Africa, it was from elsewhere, we wanted to stay open because we're so broke that we don't value our lives. Right now, there has to be a clear, forceful statement about any citizen who helps anybody outside of Ghana to enter the country is going to face some really serious punishment.
Here is a situation where the border towns and communities are crying, and they are saying that they are struggling because their livelihoods depend on opening the
So
borders.
we should allow them.
And so once they remain shut, I'm using these words advisedly, they are unable to meet their economic.
But this is why I talked about the broke. You see, when people are desperate, you know, with all our religion and all our going and comings, life comes down to two basic things: earning of income and spending of income. And when people have nothing to spend, they have to go and earn. But in an emergency like this, we are at war. People need to, and if the government has to help local communities so they don't feel tempted to help somebody in, then so be it. But we are not going to say just because you're poor and living on the border of Ghana, you're going to help people with disease get into Ghana.
Let me read a few of the messages that we have coming in, gentlemen, with your permission. Here is one saying, Zachariah from Sinyani, it's a shame and disgrace to our democracy. You cannot eat your cake and have it. I believe you're talking about the 2022 budget. We'll be getting to that matter in a little while. Here's another one. Life is a very complex enterprise, and in which you'd have to make many choices, and so always be yourself and remain focused. Thank you for sending that to us. Mature discussion here. Samuel Cranting is sending us that message. Thank you, Samuel, for that. KKD has made a very good point about spending on our wants rather than our needs. We need to get our priorities right. Yao sent us that from Accra. So it's a very, very sad moment, Pa, that a deputy speaker had overturned a main speaker's decision. We'll get into the details of that conversation, but once we are focused on COVID-19 and the Medical Association asking for scaling up of efforts to prevent the new variant from coming onto our shores, I want to shift to vaccination.
So I love the way you said it. You see, you didn't use that crazy phrase that the writer used.
Because you said no.
Just before you move on, you can talk about poverty, but there are other issues as well. We cannot patrol our borders 100%. Even America can't. Mexicans are coming through, illegally and all of that. We have a lot of illegal routes coming into this country. We shouldn't also forget that on our coastlines, even though we were locked down, there were communities that are Ghanaian communities in Sierra Leone, fishing communities in Liberia, and they come through the sea to Ghana on a daily basis. Who's monitoring? Who knows who's coming in at any given point in time? And we have borders with Burkina, we have borders with Cote d'Ivoire, we have borders with Togo, and we all know the Togo issue very clearly. So even beyond the variants, and I'm happy that he's talking about we are at war. I think that, and I can't speak for all Ghanaians, but I hope Ghanaians can see that there is a correlation between how we have handled COVID from day one and hopefully the lack of impact that it has had on our people as compared to the over 500,000 people in America who have died from it. If we can appreciate it and not play politics with the measures that have been taken so far. I'm not saying it's the only contributory factor, but it is a major factor. And if we have to, as the Medical Association is saying, ramp it up, let's ramp it up. I prefer to be alive than dead.
In the same vein, I want to ask, I'll pose this to you gentlemen, should we make vaccination mandatory? Because as one of the key ways to fight this, according to what the World Health Organization is telling all of us, is to get vaccinated. And yet vaccine hesitancy appears to be on the ascendancy, and there's a seeming apathy towards getting the vaccines. We've seen countries who are saying, look, by X month, if nobody takes up these vaccines and they are in the country, we'll need to dispose of them. Thousands and millions of dollars spent on these vaccines, and people are just unconcerned, or they appear to be unconcerned. Should we make it mandatory?
I recall after I had my accident, I was using crutches, and I wanted to check out of the hospital because I wanted to be home with my daughter. And the doctor said, but you need to be in hospital. And so I asked a doctor friend of mine, I said, I really want to go home. I don't want to be here. And so he said, well, then you have to sign a form before you can go home, because our duty is to keep you well. And we think this is a safe environment for you to be well. But if you want to leave the premises where we believe we can keep you safe, then you need to sign to show that you're leaving. Yeah. It tells you that whilst the government wants to keep everybody safe, in the long run, everybody is responsible for their self-preservation. The vaccine hesitancy is a big issue. I live in England still, and I come and go. And I find that in England, where I would expect for everybody to want to take the vaccine, when they said if you're working in healthcare and you will not take the vaccine, then you may lose your job. And the same in America.
There was a backlash.
A good number of people chose to lose their job over taking the vaccine. And these are not uneducated people. So it made more people start asking questions. If the people in healthcare
are refusing it,
if people who have worked as immunologists, if people who have worked as doctors and surgeons and nurses are refusing it, what am I, a plantain seller, to do? So have we placed sufficient confidence in the citizenry to see that this is safe, it's good for you. Like, even Guinness used to say it's good for you. Why can't we say the vaccine is good for you? And why can't we have some, you know, well, do we have any reputable people any longer? But some reputable persons come up and say, I can vouch for this. It's good for you. Let's go and take it. But then that brings me back, you know, I like to be an optimist in everything. But in my optimism, I'm still able to look back at some experiment that was conducted on black people many years ago. And they were giving syphilis in America. The story is real.
So your optimism is a cautious one? Cautious optimism?
Of course, because this is health. You see, there are all these little comforts that you have. But when you don't have life, you don't have life. You know, and that's why the question is, are you sure it is safe? No medicine is totally safe. Every medicine has some side effects. But the questions around the vaccine now, I mean, some of us have gone and shot it. Some of us have gone and shot it, and we're like, we're praying that 6 months from now we'll not be barking into the sea. But there are more questions than answers. And the people who should be giving us confidence are not giving us confidence.
Let me pick your thoughts, Oscar. We'll be going to Cape Coast very shortly.
Yeah, I mean, what we get is from the international community. And there's so much news and fake news. We really don't know what is happening.
And conspiracy theories.
But at least we can follow the trends. So you can see that variants are coming. And we're being told that your last vaccine may not be able to manage the new variant. And so we are going to be going on this roller coaster of variants for the next 100 years. And will continue to take, and we don't know the damage that is causing to us as human beings, even with the fake news with our DNA issues, which is a very serious matter. But the bottom line is this: I am expecting that Ghanaian researchers by now will be telling our own story, because every time we are picking up from the international community, there's nothing about research that has been on this COVID variant from Ghana. And it feeds back into...
I love my brother today.
It feeds back into this issue.
You always love him.
I love my brother today. You know why? I'll give you a good example. Look, Ghana was downgraded for our credit rating. I think poor and standard. And I recall my uncle, Dr. Mwaku Tufo, who is the secretary to the Economic Management Committee in Ghana today. He's also the chief of Abidjan, very learned economist, been a professor for so many years. Had to go to London to explain, no, you couldn't downgrade us because we've done this, we've done that, we've done this. And he says he walks into this room and some 28-year-old young Indian chap of British, you know, nationality, who doesn't know enough to teach 2 sentences in an economics class. And these are the guys we are sitting in Ghana and we continue to say, international community, international community. Get to know them one by one. Woman being sao. Woman being yesa. What are they doing with their wisdom and their knowledge? So are you telling me that we don't have immunologists in Ghana who can come and stand in front of all of us and vouch for us and tell us that this and this and this are what are in this thing that we're going to shoot into you? This is what they can do for you. If they will not do it, why do you want the lady who is carrying oranges to just say, oh, I heard from the international community? How many times hasn't the international community been wrong? But let's have some civilized debate and let's look for the smart ones amongst us in every field of endeavor. I stick to my media, brands, culture, and tourism. There are people in immunology. There are people in film. There are people in other areas of expertise. Let their voices be heard. This whole idea of let's always wait for international community. There are Ghanaians who work at the WHO. Brilliant Ghanaians who work there. But that doesn't mean that everything the WHO says is always right. Trust, but verify. And if you cannot be verified, then you must never be trusted.
Trust but verify is the key statement from KKD, and we'll move on to our other conversation. We'll be going over to Cape Coast very soon when the team is ready. But the topical issue from yesterday has been the one concerning the passing of the 2022 budget by the majority after the minority boycotted proceedings. The majority insisting that the minority did not follow due process on Friday, and their vote with 137 members of the House on the floor was unconstitutional and therefore now void. And after conversations yesterday morning, which we understand ended at about 2:30 in the afternoon, Parliament resumed sitting for the minority to be absent. The majority took the vote, the question was asked, took the vote, and it was passed. And the issues concerning the approval have dominated headlines since last night. The Ghanaian Times saying the 2022 budget approved at last as majority reverses decision on rejecting it. The Finder newspaper saying 2022 budget passed, majority, minorities boycott is a missed opportunity to force lost motion. And the Custodian is saying asking for a probe into the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Alban Bagbin, and the Fixing the Country group is what is making that demand. We'll come back to our gentlemen to look into those issues. For now, we go to the central region of Cape Coast, host city for this year's 37th National Farmers Day Awards, which reward deserving farmers and fishermen. And our team is on the ground. Valerie will tell us what they're doing. Val?
Sure.
So Cape Coast is alive this week.
Are you excited?
I am excited.
You guys are going to be spending your weekend.
I am excited.
You should be. I'm a bit jealous. Right, and so we're going to the Kotokraba market. That's where we are keeping an eye from. My guy Alan is already on standby. He's standing there. Apparently, the market has over 2,000 stalls. Over 2,000 stalls. And so Alan, will have Alan shortly. That's where we are keeping an eye from this morning. And that's Alan behind my screen. Good morning, Alan. What can you report?
Hi, good morning, Valerie, and welcome to the Kotokraba market in the central region. The Kotokraba market is the biggest market in the whole of the central region. Historically, it predates Ghana's independence. The market started even before Ghana gained her independence from our colonial masters. Indeed, it used to be the then capital of the Gold Coast, and so every other marketing activity all around this central region emanated from the Kotokraba market. And so it was only expected that even after independence, the existence of the market will be maintained. The market has over 2,000 stalls, as you have said initially, and out here it is bordered by a few landmarks. These include the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation Central Region, as well as the famous Infanspim Secondary or Senior High School. The market this morning is buzzing with life, and I'm not sure if you saw the earlier feeds that came through, but you have the market women, especially those who deal with farm foods and products. Indeed, it's the Farmers' Day coming up this Friday, and so it will only be appropriate if visiting the market we come to those who trade directly with the farmers. Indeed, when we were young, one of the prayers we said before we ate our meal was, God bless the farmer, God bless the seller, and God bless my mom who cooked the meal. I don't know if you prayed that prayer ever, but I did many times. And that is why I think it is really prudent and appropriate that coming to you this JC with life in Cape Coast in general, given that Farmers' Day has not been brought to this region in the past, and so has that brought on new faces. Remember, Cape Coast is the tourist hub of Ghana, and it has a place on the UN Heritage Site. And so if you see new faces, perhaps somebody will say Cape Coast is familiar with seeing new faces. But yeah, Farmers' Day is not the everyday random, and so let's come in and speak to Felicia. What I see on Felicia's table is a variety of fruits and vegetables. You have the usual cucumbers, you have the carrots, you have the watermelons, the tomatoes, the onions, the green peppers, and also pineapples as well as lemons. Felicia is going to be speaking to us. We're going to engage her a bit and find out whether or not there's been any shift in customer behavior since it was announced that the Farmers' Day is going to be in this region come Friday. Good morning, Ma'am Felicia Mpocha. Then. If you are be everybody or everybody ha.
What you matter? That was a Farmers' Day.
After that was a Farmers' Day. Now maybe I will go eat ukuafuna you want to go into then I eat no mummy.
Metal news. That was a if you don't be a National Farmers' Day. The man metal.
Ninti what you know go ha e share one go me ha Kotokraba Ibensi say in the office there what the two go there what the midday the ponday today what the bagwe hey or the Abraham whom go me ha
Mommy, mention I'm home saying beer. That was for your holiday. It's a holiday now yet in a 9 you say beer there were tazi another a beer no china or your holiday neighbor the word tazi I'm to mention.
Ninti wunzama atonu eyi ekwafunu yi wodi gwa eyimi another wosu kotunu obi no ho ansa na de bogugum ha.
I'm portray one croffa was a bank and then so you're gonna cotton.
Okay. Inti Mammy Shadze, a croffa, what dear William Mayer Lutuni, Sanape Ibiri Shawa, Ebena Sam in a Epiada Ekachena, Ebena in a Wakumim, Ianche, or Obeye, Nanche, Inyame, Neima Sisakakra.
Portray as all the Malcolm Casaka saying the Induna was a Ziban or Dawson do. Since the Macaro today, I do that was a bay, and so Shamawai. Orugbe tu oguan orugbe tu na oropoto amon tisu carrot ne sumpo na nche yewo ne nche yewo kotokum no yewo akase na bo na yewo nkakrama nso no bo nso na se ekomanyi bo sensisi o se timodi no wazen nkakrama ne hyase no waza akase no waza abona no ebo a wazo na akase no na wazo to na nkakrama nso wazo mahen nti yehu da wor prahen timasra na nne oye nyame pia ochina ye hone dei one more was in a window, no permanent.
But your Ochina Yoda, if you don't know, I wanted that.
No, Ochina the chief fida. I wanted, I mean, on when you now wanted that. One man no karma young.
But what the fire you want to go no? Misha, my will care. I will turn Yamano. I will not turn Yamano. I go the fire you want to go. What if you were my Yami Adma Macahona to be say Moboto Nachi, me did I make complain me but there or that one channel to another was saying Isha wouldn't the Abaya done Samiriama but there Mama to Nawanche Bia.
Open the moye yo. I am your pa sent to the Yimpon the Bill one and so the Jumatan. Your restaurant far would to be hotel for Nazi. Into so open the Yimpon of a barboto. O you don't talk a crabby or Ronson, instead you're on a Casaka cra. Or on Casaka cra knows a go. No sort to go, none answer none, then in your potowa. Up and the morning is canoes to tell you. Wabako. Up some what to be all your quandam machine. It's all by the manager of Muslim Roboco. A random say from one on the Azino Apoto, and there was say also I can't mati, my show, bro pen, I can't pen or the bashomu. On show Madame Kawa Bueno, one sabaka. It's all by the moya kakra.
Me there, Equafubi, Eba Gway Crummy ha, and ya far from Cutin, on ya far from Cutin or Gway, one son wants to would you fool now de say, Ibisu Waha, Nasa, Ipiade, or Sansano Kakra, Dambrabaya, Anka Bande, Debia Butchokan, now Quakafaba, na you need to go ha, a foot to as a man by a more hen.
Pochomus a foot and as a Madame Moncroft and Titru. 1 hour when you go and quado. I wear a bananka cranka, would you do a cucumber na often cabbage na zeno. Motor to us on that's a way and that's all, and there was a ring go may ata. Another one in Bezun coma. 1 man no quarren daisy. For the very 2 weeks in the bread be friend and there or Abrodunco area. Now a cabbage or a fell pa. Yen do I fell. On Chum farm brain, so the cabbage in a tote. Into Obandam and ono bo per day in Yanazo to us was 650. Obandam yentia, Yamina above for him 300 years a man. Into Sanaso Gumudana there, or boy him with TV da. Obama some American or Yanoko, or from Felicia. Mayana so phone do, or some nature bills of Brian. No, yet into Sawara no yet when Yanis go ha. I won't pay your Bokonkan and now Kumasi Akota. One man no quarizi on your Juma, or your fewa on your fewa, no bono on the home.
Felicia, Mpocho, farmers they don't know the Pondano or Rabado or Disadal College. Mashakwan de Muhu. And they am you can say, Ibimu Wabugua Castle or Warrior exhibition. A turning for me, Yama, into Bomadana for him was a cafe. Beshi Bine Yinetigua, you may meet a new customer there. Mpocho, Bomadana for each at Disadal College, you are Bri, Chambima Bomadana Co. And so once again, as you heard me speak to Felicia, Felicia is a trader who deals in farm foods and products. And so she's actually raised a number of issues to do with farmers who use excessively what you call chemicals to grow their food product. And she has made a direct appeal to them to tone down on the use of chemicals. Let me also mention this, the Kotokraba market, unfortunately, Eye in the Sky has packed up on us, and so we could not bring you the full view of the Kotokraba market, especially the recently built Kotokraba market. It has in the past suffered some fire, and so the new phase of Kotokraba market isn't what we used to know a few years ago. Between 2000 and 2012, the Kotokraba market had gone through 2 serious fires, but then thankfully government had come to the aid of traders at the Kotokraba market and has done something about it. Well, before I sign off, Val, the name Kotokraba, I'm told, is a fancy word which means little crab or Koto Kakraba. It historically paints a picture of those who dealt or traded here, who dealt in crabs or depended on crabs for a living. This has been Keep an Eye coming to you live on the Farmers Day edition, or special Farmers Day edition from the Central Region. And this is from the Kotokraba market. Thank you very much, Valerie. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Alan. That was a very, very, very interesting report from the Kotokraba market. I loved the woman's fanti. It was amazing. And so from this week, from today till Friday, we'll be bringing you Keep an Eye and rushing hour in important places and historical places in the Central Region. So if you're watching us from the Central Region, we encourage you to send videos, comments, and the places you want our team to visit. We are in Cape Coast this weekend. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. And so I'm going to hand over to T, and she's still discussing what's trending with His Royal Blackness KKD and Oscar. T.
Thank you, Valerie. I thought you would ask Daryl to bring some crabs, you know, because it's Koto and Koto Kakraba, big crabs and little crabs.
From Kotokraba, he's going to go elsewhere. He has a long run. See, I don't want to put a lot on it. He had just an hour. He had an hour's sleep.
Put it on ice.
Just an hour's sleep.
Okay, girl. Thank you to you and the team. Kotokraba Market in focus for Keep an Eye today. Back at the table, Oscar and Kusi are still here. We're looking at what the newspapers are telling us. And yesterday, the budget was approved by the majority. And that story is dominant in a lot of the newspapers we have in front of us today. The Ghanaian Times on page 4, leading the story with 2022 budget approved at last as majority reverses decision rejecting it. So key highlights in that story: Parliament, constituted by the majority caucus of the House yesterday, reversed the rejection of the 2022 budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending December 31, 2022. The House, presided over by Speaker Obamsumana Kingsford Bagbin on Friday, rejected the document with 137 members, all members of the minority caucus, after the majority staged a walkout in the middle of proceedings. That rejection, according to the majority, is now void and of no effect because at least 138 members were required to be in the House for that discussion, for that decision to be valid in line with Article 104 of the 1992 Constitution. So a lot of controversy surrounding a rejection and then a denial of the rejection, and then a reversal of the rejection, and then an approval. What are your thoughts on this? I'll start with you, Chris.
No comment.
No comment? Why is that?
Are you ready?
Okay, so the gentlemen are also boycotting this conversation. I don't know whether it's a boycott in favor of the majority or a boycott in favor of the minority, but you see, when we did social media trends, an interesting comment came up, and someone said, oh, there appears to be a double track system happening in Parliament, and so today the majority is there and the minority is not, and then tomorrow the minority is there and the majority is not.
So my brother and I, he's an actor, and he doesn't only act with his voice, he acts with his movement. And he talked about the fact that sometimes the things that happen in society need to be shown to the public through drama.
So that's what
through
we just
theater, through film. Imagine if the doctor who had a surgery walked out in the middle of the surgery. Imagine if the newscaster who was bringing you the news walked out in the middle of the news. Imagine if the farmer who was harvesting the food that would come to your markets walked out in the middle of the harvest.
And the result does not get delivered.
Imagine if the driver who is taking workers to their destination stopped in the middle of the road and walked out. It is idiotic. The only word for that is idiotic. It is not the first time it has happened in Ghana or anywhere in the world.
Are you speaking to both sides of the house or just one side?
Whoever does it, it is idiotic. Look, the essence of Parliament is to show your superior thought in debate. Superior thought in debate. Because you're there to make laws for the people. You are there to hold the executive accountable. You are there to repeal the bad laws. You are there to safeguard the public purse. If one side of the house, call them your rivals if you like, call them your enemies if you like, or call them your friends if you like, if they have an idea that says the best way from point A to point C is to go all the way to Z and come back to Y and go to W and come to D before we come to C, and you say no, but we can go from A to B to C, go and debate it. But don't walk out and then go and give us a press briefing. So whether the NDC does it, the CPP does it, or the MPP does it, it is idiotic. I am a citizen of this country. You see, people are good people and they can do bad things. And people are bad people and they can do good things. And people are smart people and they can do idiotic things. And people are very intelligent people and they can have brain farts. Yesterday was drama to no effect. Because now we say, oh, but when it comes to the appropriations, we're going to fight it step by step. Very bad example for every young communicator, every young brilliant speaker, every young thinker who is looking at the parliament and saying, one day, I want to be one of the people who makes laws for this country. See our people behave the way they did.
Oscar?
Strong words. Look, the essence of this was drama. We're going through a drama. The question we should have asked ourselves is, when we embrace democracy, what did we expect? You know, and I can relate to this somewhat, because we're now dealing with issues of governance in terms of the Constitution, in terms of standing orders and procedures and things. I've been involved with the Ghana Actors Guild since 1996, part of the constitutional committee that drew up the 1996 constitution of the Guild. In terms of governance at the highest levels, in terms of a new constitution barely 2 years ago or two years ago, chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee. Our problems are with governance and adherence to constitutional provisions. We're in court today because of governance issues and constitutional issues, issues of quorum, issues of procedure. what the interpretations are. So for me and for any other person who has been involved on those levels, it's drama to me, but it's also placing an emphasis on the importance of our Constitution and what goes on. And I hope all young people are getting interested in what is unfolding today. And yes, I believe that if we were to leave this platform right now, you'd have a field day to say whatever you wanted to say about us. We wouldn't have had an opportunity to respond or to say whatever we need to say. I guess walking out is a tool that they've been using time and time again. But is it really in the interest of the people of Ghana? So the drama is unfolding. What I'm happy about is that it's unfolding in an atmosphere of let's say, no fear-mongering. We're not hearing that this is a constitutional crisis, so possibly the whole country can go up in flames. Suddenly, the politicians have realized that the people who will be worst affected by this country going up into flames are themselves. They'll be the first casualties, trust me, when this country goes up in flames. So I think a little bit more wisdom is creeping in than before. And so we are now seeing an outpouring of let's temper down, let's, manage this properly. Beautiful. That's what we want to see in this country. We're tired of hearing politicians telling us our country is going to go into flames because of their interest. How many people are in Parliament? 275. How many people are in positions of power, of authority to take any decision in this country? I don't think there will be more than 2,000. Well, if you take the MNDC, the DCs and all that, add them together, they may not even be 3,000. That means out of 30 million people, 3,000 people want to destroy this nation. They want me to carry my mattress and walk from here to Ivory Coast or to Togo with my mattress because of what? Their privileges, because of their want for power, that peaceful, peace-loving Ghanaians should carry their mattress and be butchering themselves. Have they seen butchering before? I want you to play the Sierra Leone Civil War and the Liberian Civil War every single day. Show them the real violence, not my industry movie, I'm falling down. No, you want to see what an AK-47 bullet does to a human being? To see their intestines pour out and their brains scattered? Or what a machete does to a human body? We're not joking here. We are citizens. We ought to be able to live in peace and tranquility and leave a prosperous nation and a future for our generations to come. And we should safeguard it because this is a God-given country. Ghana is all we have. So I think that the politicians who are now in power and those coming up will have this at the back of their minds, that if they think that war is a good option, they should be the ones and their families in the front line. If not, manage this country in a peaceful manner so that we can all be happy, eat our kinke, sit on our roadside, chat, laugh. Because I'm telling you, war is the last thing anybody wants to experience in this country. So let us move the narrative to getting our politicians to conduct their business in a peaceful manner that will allow this country to flourish and grow to the God-given country that it is.
Gentlemen, this is all time would allow us to offer on these subjects. Thank you so much. King Kwesi Che Dakwa, media brand and culture specialist, thank you for your time. Oscar Provençal, actor, thank you as well for your time and for sharing your thoughts, quite passionate thoughts by Oscar there, bringing a lot of memories of war visuals that we've seen. We need peace in this country. The key call, the passing, the concluding comment from Oscar is the key for me as I walk away from this particular conversation. There are others coming up regarding the Minerals Commission, and they will be at the table to explain some of their operating systems to us, and Valerie will be in charge of that discussion. Stay with GTV. We'll be right back with more after this break.
Welcome back, and so the hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast, and we are still continuing our time with the Minerals Commission. In today's time with the Minerals Commission, we are going to continue our discussion on the operational manual for small-scale and community mining, which was recently launched by the Honorable George Merkuduka. He's the Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Now, in last week's edition, we discussed the rationale for the development of the operational manual, the qualifying requirements, and clarified the difference between small-scale and community mining. Today, we are excited to have with us once again Mr. Nelson Ahedo. He is the Director, Small Scale and Industrial Minerals of the Minerals Commission, to throw more light on the operational manual for small scale and community mining. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay. Yes, it's a pleasure to have you as always sitting in for tea. So, as a prelude to from last week's discussion with you, what is the administrative and governance structure for the community mining scheme?
Yeah, thank you very much. The community mining scheme is being implemented by the government through Minerals Commission. So as implementing agency, we need to put in place some administrative and governance structures to actually assist us to fully operationalize the scheme. So in that regard, we put in some structures, like community mining oversight committee. That is very important structure that's supposed to oversee all the operations in the designated areas. And you also put in place code of practice. Those are the a set of rules that are set out to guide the operations of small-scale miners. As you said the other time, we want the operations to be best practices, to be very sustainable, to be responsible. So we need to put structures in place to guide the operations.
Okay, we have pictures from last week's event when the Honorable Minister launched the event, but doing a recap again, for the purposes of someone who is just watching us for the first time in this series, this is the ending of the series, what is community mining, the difference between community and small-scale mining? Just hush, so I can continue our conversation.
Yeah, as you said the other time, community mining is a policy that has been rolled out to actually tackle illegal mining and to encourage effective local community participation in small-scale mining. So basically the difference, as I was saying at that time, was community mining is a community-based operations. It is for the people in the community. So it is more or less a subset of the universal set called small-scale mining.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just a subset. It's a small-scale mining. It's just a subset.
Okay.
And it is operated under minerals and mining laws.
Right. And then also, what is the role or the responsibility of community mining, the oversight committee, I beg your pardon? What is their role?
Yeah. The oversight committee, that is the administrative structure that has been put in place to actually oversee all the operations in the designated areas. So if you see the composition of the committee, it is the members of the District Mining Committee prescribed under Section 92 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006 as 703. And these members are 6. You have the District Chief Executive there, who is the chairperson of the committee. You have a member from the District Assembly. You have the representative from the Traditional Council. You have representative from Environmental Protection Agency. And you have representative from Inspectorate Division of Minerals Commission. And of course, the District Officer of the Minerals Commission. So if you look at this composition, these are more or less the regulators and the owners of the land. So they are given the sole responsibility of all mining activities that are happening on the designated areas. That has been brought out in accordance with Section 89 of the Minerals and Mining Act.
Right. Can you also recap the procedure, take us through the procedure for acquisition of small-scale or the community mining license?
Yeah. As you said, every mining operation requires a license. And that license must be granted by the minister responsible for mines, that is lands and natural resources. Sometimes people think Minerals Commission grants license. We don't grant license. It is only the minister who can grant license. But we are like the technical wing of the ministry. So we actually process the license and recommend to the minister to grant. So the process involves, you have a blockout areas for small-scale mining. So if you're interested in undertaking small-scale mining, you find the area of interest. If you find the area of interest, you go to the nearest district office. We actually establish district offices all over the country.
very, very close to the operations of the small-scale miners themselves, because we are bringing the administration of small-scale to the doorsteps of the miners themselves, so that the interactions can be so easy. So you get your place of interest, you go to the nearest district office, you inform the officer about your place. The officer will advise you to draw a site plan of the area. Because the mining license, it is not just like any other license. It is not like a driving license which you can obtain in Kumasi and drive in Accra. Sure. The mining license, they are site specific. So the officer will advise you to draw the map of the place you are interested in. And for the small scale, that place should not be more than a certain size. By law, they say it should not be more than 12 small-scale cadastral blocks.
Say that again. 12?
Small-scale cadastral blocks.
Cadastral blocks.
Exactly.
Right.
So because if we come to our cadastral system, that is the mapping system, we have blocks. The whole country is divided into blocks. So for the small-scale cadastral blocks, one block is about 2.1 acres. So if you are taking a maximum of 12, it means small-scale mining license cannot be more than 12 times 2.1, which is 25.2 acres. So you cannot take anything more than that. And it should be multiples of blocks, which is 2.1 acres. So after drawing your site plan, you submit everything to the district officer with the necessary documentations, and the district officer will visit the site to inspect something we call pre-licensing inspection.
Pre-licensing
inspection. It is more or less the baseline studies of the area to know actually what is on the land before the license will be granted to you. So if they see that everything is okay and the pillars you put on the land conforms to what is on the map, then they will recommend your application to head office for the process. So the head office to review the application. If everything is okay, they will do something called gazette.
Gazetting.
Yeah, we cause gazette to be done for 21 days.
Okay. What is gazetting in your language?
Gazette simply means publications, just to give information to the people that this company is about to work in this particular area, so that if anybody has anything against that operations, the person can inform us for us to, analyze the concern before we grant the license to the person.
And that will be probably the dailies or the newspapers for 21 days.
Exactly. We'll publish it in the newspapers, especially the newspapers that are common in that area. We'll publish in the newspapers, and we give the notice of gazette to the stakeholders in the area, like the district chief executives, like the traditional authorities, and even opinion leaders in the area, religious leaders, and we even paste the copy of notification on the land when you're about to work for 21 days. So if 21 days there is no objection, then the district chief executive will inform us that no, we can go ahead, because after publications nobody objected to the process. Then from there they will recommend to the minister, and the minister will also take his time to study it and then approve the recommendations.
Okay, so ideally, how long does it usually take from the acquisition process till the time the minister recommends and you are given the license? How long does it take?
Yeah, it's supposed not to be more than 91 days.
Not more than 91 days?
Yes, if everything is okay. Even it can be about 60 days.
It depends.
Yes, it
on
depends.
The assessments and what they find.
Exactly.
Right.
Because if there's some mistakes, you have to ask you to correct those mistakes before we continue. And
is there a code of practice for community mining? Is there a code of practice?
Yes.
Okay. Can you throw more light on that?
Yes. We develop code of practice for small-scale mining and community mining. And this one is actually legislative requirement. So Minerals Commission is supposed to develop that code of practice to actually guide the operations of the small-scale miners. So if you see the code of practice, it's a set of rules. It's more or less, the rule of engagement. So all the prospective applicants will be given this code of practice. They will know exactly what they're supposed to do, what not to do, all the do's and don'ts. You know, if you go to all the mining areas, the activities, they can impact either positively or negatively.
Yeah.
So the code of practice is developed to minimize the negative side as far as health and safety issues are concerned, and to optimize the positive side of the operations.
Right, and then also, okay.
Yeah, so if you see that code of practice, we talk of the operations itself, what the miner is supposed to do.
The rules that govern the day-to-day activities of miners, basically, that's what it is. Right. And then also, can you show our viewers a typical small-scale and community mining scheme design or setup? I'm sure we'll be having that on the screen shortly, but before we get that, maybe you can throw more light on it. That's it right there on the screens. That's it. So maybe you could speak to the pictures for us.
Yes. We are saying that before you undertake community mining, basically you have to put some structures in place, facilities in place, especially your administrative setup must be there. If you don't have those things, it means we cannot even launch the community mining. So if you can see the pictures, you have something you call your offices, just basic offices, because you have to ensure that you have good housekeeping in your operational area. So the administrative office, you need to have office for maybe the receptionist, office for the mine manager or the person who is in control of the site, for the environmental officer. You need to have basic first aid post or mini clinic at the site. Right. As we talked about last week, you know, mining is hazardous. A lot of things can happen, and you need to put at least some structures in place to handle anybody who suffers from any accident. So you need to have a first aider if his or her office. So it is part of that structure. You need to have a changing room.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to, as expected from everybody, you have to have basic structures in place, your workshop, your area for vendors, and you need to keep the place very neat.
I saw in the list earlier on our screen, I saw a borehole. That's a requirement.
Yes, not necessarily a borehole, but potable water.
Potable water.
Yes, you need to have potable water. It's a requirement. If you don't have it, you cannot launch. You need to have washrooms.
Right. So without these basic amenities, you cannot even begin to think of having a mining license.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is what we find in the manual.
Okay. And so number 16, page 1634 says that mine support services, and if you permit me to read a little, it says that persons and companies registered and permitted by the Minerals Commission and other institutions may provide the following services to assist in the implementation of the scheme. So the first one, I, is exploration, and then mining, environmental management, equipment hire, financial services, centralized processing unit, gold trading, and that's just it. Maybe you can throw more light on this for us. Can anybody, maybe if you have equipment for mining or exploration, can you just go and bid to, say, render your services to these mining companies? Or you have to go through, just throw more light on this for us.
Yeah, we have to go through. You know, as we started community mining or small-scale miners, you know, we are mindful of the fact that these miners may not be able to mobilize enough resources to undertake mining because, you know, mining is capital intensive. That is why you open that window of opportunity to other people, businessmen, who are not necessarily concession owners, but they are interested in investing in mining, to register with Minerals Commission and provide mine support services to the small-scale miners. So those are the type of services that you listed over there. They can register with Minerals Commission and then provide that services to the small-scale miners. So services like exploration can be done. Even the mining itself on a contract basis can be given out to a contractor who registers with Minerals Commission. Or you can establish maybe a centralized processing unit or you can establish maybe a plan to hire machines to the small-scale miners. But that's when you have to register with us. You can even register with us to trade in gold or even provide financial services to the small-scale miners. Well, all the activities on the value chain, you have to register with us and then provide to the small-scale miners. So basically, that is how it is. So anybody who wants to invest in mining, you just come to Minerals Commission and register as a mine support service provider.
Mine support service provider.
That you can render that service to all the registered miners.
Right. Mr. Hedo, do you have any closing remarks? Anything we might have missed? Anything you want to highlight?
Yes. The most important things we want to tell the general public is the government has put in place structures to help anybody who is interested in mining. You want to avoid illegal mining in this country. So if you want to engage in mining, just visit our district centers. They are very close to you. Visit them. They will advise you as to how to acquire license and operate in an environmentally sustainable manner. So we are appealing to everybody who is interested in mining. Avoid illegality. Go to the district officer. A place to be provided for you, because you have blocked a very large areas in the country. You block about more than 140 areas across the country, covering more than 6,000 kilometers square. So if you're interested, we'll find you a place to. So don't engage in illegality. Kindly go to our district offices for assistance.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Hedo, for coming in. In today's time with the Minerals Commission, we've been speaking to Mr. Nelson Ahedo. He's the Director, Small Scale and Industrial Minerals of the Minerals Commission, and he's been here and he's been throwing some light on the operational manual for small scale and community mining. Now, the hashtag to follow is still GTV Breakfast. Now, still to come, we are expecting that sit down with tea and the Honorable Asabi. We're going to talk the Asabi factor. Wise, we have lots of questions. Wise, and he's going to give us the answers. And then also we have Kofi Adams in studio later on, and we're going to be discussing the budget. We like to call it musical chairs. And so the hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We're live on YouTube as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, on Facebook as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, on Instagram as GBC Online, and on Twitter we are the GBC Ghana. The show is made possible by Awake Purified Water, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, Shield Acrylic Paint, Low Fat, Cheesy Pizza, and Airtel Tigo, responsible for the lifestyle segment. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We'll be right back.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
The show was a jar or bar anyone conquer dim.
GTV, we are settling into a conversation which is about a transition from the boardroom to the heights of politics. That is, if he ever left. So his resignation did not come as a surprise to many because his intention has long been made public. But some thought it came way too soon. Is that the case? A leading a revolution to make state-owned enterprises more profitable and viable was his goal at the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, and the Honorable Stephen Asamoah Boateng, who is at the table with us this morning, was well on his way to making that happen, as some say. So, his turnaround back into politics, full-time politics, has come under a lot of public interest. At the table, he joins us to explain why he took that crucial decision and what the future holds for the man we now call Asabi. Honorable, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Thelma. How are you?
Very well. We are in your region this week for Farmers' Day.
Yep, and God willing, I will be there. This is my region, so I'll be in Kromanse. And I join you in Cape Coast, so
great,
we'll
great. It would be an honor to have you. The question on many minds is, you're CEO of SIGA, a position that is enviable by many, by all intents, and you're leaving that to go into politics. Why?
Well, thank you very much, and let me say hello, good morning to your cherished viewers. Indeed, it's been a journey that I have enjoyed. I started my politics a long time ago, but in this administration I moved to the corporate environment to try and put together what had never been done in Ghana before. The state has invested a lot of money and the returns were not coming, and most often they bring debt and inefficiencies, and most companies were operating in silos and nobody knew what they were up to and not accountable to anybody. And so President Akufo-Addo asked me to do a job, and so I started from the State Enterprises Commission then, and I realized there was another one called the Diversity Implementation Committee, so we put them together to create the State Interest and Governance Authority. And it's historic. I can tell you on fact, because I've been a member of parliament, the only legal document that was passed twice in 1 week. We passed it, some few clauses were deleted, and I went back to them and went to the president. We went back and stood at the motion of passage and went back to consideration stage and passed it again. And the whole thing was that the difference between SIGA and the past, from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's time, where he used to be called the State Enterprises Secretariat, and then a Champions time, General Ike, a Champion time, a GIHOC, Ghana Industrial Holding Corporation, was formed. The difference is that this time round, the shareholding responsibility was centralized in SIGA. If you are the shareholder, you basically decide in terms of the structure how it's run, and then you can crack the whip. And so we then inserted the clauses that made the shareholding responsibility come to SIGA, and SIGA started. But yeah, the law was there, but there was something I did different, and which I was brought up by my mother, my mom, Mary Enchira Maduma. May her soul rest in peace. I loved her a lot. She basically changed my life. Of course, my mother always said love, but she did an awful lot. Made me understand that life is not about forcing people. It's about letting them grow and learn, and they understand what they're doing themselves, and then they do better. So what I did was call all the CEOs together into my office and say, you know what, the law is there, but let's get together. Let's have a chamber of CEOs that talk to ourselves. And that was the catalyst. So I began to pull back and ask them to lead. And then I told them I'm a servant. I'm there to clear the hurdles for them and to serve them. And that is the key to success. You got to show humility and some respect to your colleagues. They make it autumn. So now SIGA is SIGA, not because of me, because of us, because of we, the CEOs. I'm the Director General, and I've got a cane in hand by the law, but I used the carrot more than the cane. And so there were infightings all around. CEOs and deputy CEOs not agreeing because they were all appointed by the president, so they all thought they had the same authority. I said, no, you don't. He's a CEO, he's a deputy. I remember once when I was the deputy minister under Jacob Echebi Lamte, Otanka, wherever you are, God bless you. He also shaped my life. And part of my ambition to become chairman is also drawing from Jacob Echebi's experiences. Inshallah, he said, God will make it happen. I went to President Kufuor when I wasn't agreeing with Jake at one point. And I said, Papa, Jake is not agreeing with me on this thing. We discussed, he said, Steve, let me tell you, you are a deputy minister. It's easier to sack you than to sack my minister. So go and listen to your minister. That was it. That was it. So I told the deputies, you cannot challenge your CEO. That's it. So basically the point I make, and then we brought the board chairs on board. So we became one unit where we learn from each other. So we set 3 goals. One is knowledge sharing. We share knowledge. 2 is peer reviewing ourselves because the image of the entities were bad. So we had to peer review and check ourselves. And then 3, to do some intertrading activity. And so moving from inefficiencies to now almost most businesses are they're all making, they don't make losses anymore. And they're breaking even, and some are even declaring profits. And the key one is the dividend, which hasn't come in, and where I expect them when I'm going. I will come back to that. It's a success story, but it's not by me, it's about us. Now the question is, why am I leaving?
Because you're leaving all these goals and visions, which some think are somewhat unattained, because dividends have still not started coming in.
Well, you can't build Rome on your own. I mean, you got to do part and move on. I come to why the change. So I've come to the realization that, look, we are on a path of growth. We're going forward. It's true. But there's a bigger picture that we seem to be losing out, or not putting our attention to, which is the governance of this country. And being a political animal from the past, you got to understand that Ghana's development depends on the leadership of the country. And if we don't get that right, forget.
But you're not aspiring to be president. You're
No, I'm not.
To be NPP chairman.
But you need a vehicle that manages the presidency, or that works with the presidency. You need a party that is solid and strong enough to back the presidency. In respect, what we have had in Ghana is a strong presidency with a constitution that backs it, that appoints everybody in Ghana at the top positions, and the constitution of Ghana was made for one man. I mean, if you know. Remember those days that John Rawlings, President Rawlings was there, and used to be flight lieutenant John Rawlings. The constitution was made by consultative assembly, not constituent assembly. That was the difference. And those of us who knew the difference, we started calling that. The flight lieutenant wanted a consultative assembly, so that when we finish, and don't forget those days, he said he has put together hairdressers and butchers and all that. But what he did was, when they finished, took it home, and made his people write the constitution for us, and put all the power with him, for him. And we've kept it all along. It serves us okay because the clauses are good. There are certain areas that we need to take out quickly, and we need to review our constitution. So the point is that the leadership is with one man or one woman by the constitution. And if you don't have a strong party which can really support, then you are in danger. And indeed, what has happened over the years is that you have a presidency from John Rawlings to President Kufuor to President J. Atamils to President Mahama to President Akufo-Addo. And everybody seemed to be like, watch it, careful, don't step out of line. Even parliamentarians. Look, what is happening now in Parliament, I can tell you, they'll resolve it. Because it's a strong presidency. Because you can't step too far. Even the opposition will come in line. I'll come to the point is that you need a party that is stronger. And in both the parties and NDC, we don't have a strong party. So they assume the presidency, and then the party disintegrates. And then it's a question of how do we support, because they think that they are disengaging from us. This is the whole thing. I've looked at the 2024 coming election, and it is a bigger one. It's a big one that defines how Ghana develops. yes, I can be happy with SIGA. I haven't completed it, and my term is ending. I haven't resigned. I think there's, and some people say I'm still in the office. Don't worry about it. I haven't gone anywhere. My term ends, and I didn't go for another extension. And myself and the chief of staff, who is a big sister of mine, thank you. And I thank the president too, because I also spoke to him. And I also thank the vice president who was with me in Kwau. And that's where the message of me quitting or me going came in, because I had to say bye-bye to them. Because that was the biggest platform I have created, the chamber. And if I'm exiting by December, and I'm with them in October, November, I don't say anything. That's not fair.
So are you then suggesting that the position of chairman of the NPP is more rewarding than being DG of SIGA?
I'm not putting myself as the beneficiary of any of this. That's not me. I work as a team member. I was born in a big house in Konowo, where my mom was a baker, and because we have a lot of people baking, cleaning the pans and going to to mix the flour and whatever. So I'm used to people, and when you work with people, you must understand that organizing them is not easy. SIGA it's a vehicle I have been privileged and honored to accept, but there's a bigger picture. That is Ghanaians, all of us. SIGA it's corporate, fine, group.
But it's corporate with particular focus on state-owned enterprises, and the particular vision is to make them more profitable. Do you think that as you prepare to take on the new challenge of contesting in the NPP chairmanship, that vision will continue? Whoever is taking over from you, do you think the person has the will, the drive, the tenacity to carry the vision through?
Interestingly, I know who is coming in. I'm not going to mention his name. You get to know him hopefully next week or the following week. Okay. It's known. I think it's been rumored, but I will not put it on record now. And he can do a good job. I mean, I know him from President Kufuor's time. I've worked with him before, and we sat together twice already. And he knows my trajectory. He knows what the team is doing. And I don't think he will lower the tempo or he will lower the standard. But as I said, the bigger picture is the election ahead of us. If we, as MPP group, and that's where I belong, and that's where I got the privilege to serve under President Akufo-Addo, if we go and basically not renew our mandate, I can tell you that our brothers on the other side, whatever I've created in SIGA, will not be sustained. I mean, I was a witness to 2008 when we lost the election, and I was a minister of local government, rural development and environment, where we found oil in 2007, July 7th. And they thought it was Ajongo. Yet when we left, the oil that propelled the economy to about 14-15% growth, GDP, because we were growing about 7.3 when Kufuor was leaving. 14% when we started commercial exploration, exploration of oil. 14%. What happened? Oil money went everywhere, and we are back to where we are because people did not manage well, and we know them. And for me, the danger is that to lose power, which would help the SIGA to go. I am still sitting here, which is okay. So it's selfish. I'm being paid. I'm okay. I'm enjoying all the accolade you are giving me. Then we lose it. My SIGA will be taken away from me. And I don't know who the person next one. This one, I know the person who's coming in. So I need to secure that. So that we need to work with the team of the party to secure that, so I can secure this one and secure the corporate world of Ghana.
So that's the bigger picture you're talking about.
Sorry?
That's the bigger picture you were talking about.
It is the bigger picture. It is the bigger picture. And I started saying this not now. I mean, those who are playing mischief and thinking, oh, it's not coming, it's been pushed, I haven't. Because I started saying this in June. Come here. You remember?
You were at the table.
There was no secret about I'm not a secret person. I'm a very open person. My mom taught me to be open and just be honest and say it as it is. And so my attention was shifting. It was obvious. And as an appointing authority sitting there, they have also seen, they've heard, they also are they're listening. So once we engage, the question is, Hasabi, are you sure this is what you want to do or this? So we agreed. And my mom taught me, if you want to do something, could you focus? Focus. Don't put two eyes in the bottle. You will lose them. So I'm putting one eye. One is or the truth going one way. And this is me. This is me. This is what I want to do, or this is what I have also consulted, and we all agreed as this best position in terms of getting us through 2024 is the party chairmanship.
Well, I'll get to the party chairmanship, but let me take one last your thought on final thing from Siga, and it's to do with how you would want to be remembered during your tenure as Director General. 5-10 years from now, when we talk about Siga, what would you expect would be said about Stephen Asamoah Boateng?
I hope history will judge me right. I mean, I cannot control history, but I have set the fundamentals on a good trajectory for corporate Ghana to respect the investment that the people of Ghana had done. We've put our money, our pesos have been collected and invested in the ECGs, the Ghana Water, the GMPs, the Ghana Gas, Georg Distillery, name them, Ghana Publishing Company. I expect history to look at it from someone who came and pulled people together. Not somebody who did it himself. Got people to, first of all, teamwork. First of all, partnership. And also to understand that let's move away from the bad image of mismanagement and corruption and put us on a clean slate. So I am on the path. So yes, I may not have finished it, and indeed the end game is paying a dividend, and also the end game is making sure that the wealth created within the SOE sector is passed on to the Ghanaian small business unit or sector, so that the supply chain is not sent to foreign countries, but the supply chain comes to the local business, the Mamisuma in Konongo, for instance, or our tree in Konate, so that they can also benefit from what we started in SOEs. This is the long term, and I'm not going to be there, but I will be there, because once we secure the power, the person who is there, we all know him, and I know the person who is coming there. And so it all gels together. So there's nothing disruptive. There's nothing, people are being too precise, but you haven't got this, why are you leaving this? But I don't have to get something before I get this.
Which is exactly the point I was coming to make, that it seems like there's a bird in hand, which you do have, which is Siga, and you're giving that up to chase the proverbial two in the bush.
Selfish approach. I don't do things like that. I look at the objective. I don't look at myself as a bird in hand, so go and have a benkwana and chop it. I look at what can I get. Yes, it's not with me, but you are almost certain that you are working with a group. That's the key. The key is working with a group. And I am very confident that working with the team of MPP, we can achieve the power of 2024 and continue the administration and run the economy as we, the MPP, are best known to be the best managers of running the economy. Otherwise, we throw it away. Look at what's happening in Parliament, and I was coming to that. Look at what's happening. If we had our majority and we are a developing country, we cannot afford to have a Parliament that is split. We can't. You have been given a mandate to go and run a country. You have a manifesto. And then you come in, you are split in Parliament. And then what happened? Look at what's happening. I mean, my colleagues, both sides, you should sit down. You cannot take us for ransom. They should agree on the budget and we move forward. I'm hearing that, oh, now they've lost the policy document, or the opposition, now it's been approved. This is the policy document. Now when it comes to the committee level of the estimates, they're going to vote on every one of them. It's because they have the numbers are if it's evenly split. But we are playing with the vulnerable people in Ghana. But my idea about politics, and it also stems from my Christian belief. I'm a Methodist, you know that, I'm a chorister. Service to God. For me, it is to be able to help the vulnerable group in the country. Look, in the Western world, they create a welfare system that takes care of the vulnerable. What do they want? Food, shelter, clothing, 3 things. Once you provide that, the vulnerable group are okay. But you need to also then make sure they're growing, give them some business opportunity, entrepreneurial, which MPP is doing. What we haven't tackled strongly is the housing. And we acknowledge in our manifesto, the housing must come stronger. And the Minister, Honorable Asenso Boache, is tackling the housing element. So that would come in handy. What we need to do is the food. And Minister for Agric is doing that. But you need to find something for them. And when the vulnerable group or the poor, they get the money, it circulates. I mean, when we were baking the bread, any money we get around, we buy shoes, we buy clothes for the children. Whereas the rich, when they get money, it's locked up. It doesn't circulate. When the vulnerable, it goes. So why can't we find money after COVID? Most Western countries are providing support, and basically they are putting more cash money. Why can't we put money? Why are we being checked by the Western world and we cannot do it?
Another side of the argument is the fact that as DG of SIGA, you serve all interests. You're meant to serve all interests across the political divide. When you're NPP chairman, you're only serving one agenda, and that's agenda NPP.
That's not true. The biggest one is to secure a group of people called NPP who can manage the economy for all of us. It's a bigger objective. When we become government, we don't serve NPP people. It is a vehicle of the NPP that makes us win power, that serves the people of Ghana. And so that's bigger. The SIGA, yes, it is a corporate Ghana. But as I said, in terms of weight, that is a corporate work. But there's others that are going to knock it down if I don't go and secure it. So there's a bigger picture.
You're watching The Breakfast Show live on GTV. You can join the conversation by sending your messages across to us on our WhatsApp number 055-5561-034. Stephen Asamoah Boateng is in the house. His tenure as Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority is ending in the coming days, and he's decided, as he's telling us at the table today, not to put himself up for another contract to be given to him. He's decided to rather enter the race for NPP chairmanship, and we are asking him why he took that decision. So, have you looked at the base of the party? A member of your party years ago, Sir John, rest his soul, said, fear delegates. Your party, have you assessed the basis, the masses? Will they vote for you, considering that you are contesting against a sitting chairman?
First of all, the sitting chairman is not contesting. It's made it clear my own brother, Fedi Blay, is not coming. So it's somebody who had been running for a longer time period. So he's not incumbent. But I give him respect. I give respect to all my competitors. And indeed, for me to take that move, I couldn't do it by myself. As I said, I'm a believer of a teamwork. I go and talk to people on the ground. They are the kingmakers. The grassroots members of our party are the kingmakers. They make or make you. And you got to show respect and humility and let them know that you are here to serve them and bridge the gap between government and party. It's well known. Any party that loses an election, it is your base. When there's a disconnect, you lose it. Simple as that. If your base is not with you, who's coming to support you? So we need to secure the base. And right now, there are memories going on. I pick up signal. That's why I'm decided to move. The memories going on, I can tell you our base is not as strong as we think we are. And it's the connection. And because there's so many factors which time will not allow, but as appropriate, we go into the base and why there's memory going on. So I've contacted the base. In fact, as I said, they started, if you remember, we started talking about my intention to contest my intent. Now I've made up my mind. So it was during that time that I was sourcing out, I was getting things done. And I've also discussed it with the owners of the party. They are the making makers, but there are owners. In 3 years, they're the accommodation, they're the one in Odi, they're the one of the Kumneji. You heard all these proverbs. So I had to go and see the big shots in the party and ask them, what's the future? Do I fit in? Can I do it? And they all look at me, they look at my background, they look at when I started this party. And indeed, in London, when I was in exile, even before I went to exile, and myself and John Rawlings used to have our battles, I was the solid base of the PFP then. That connected the Victor Usus and those days Jerry Kufuor, Odo Isais, Peter Lajetis. So for us to understand what Jerry is up to. Yeah? And I had
strategize?
Sorry?
And strategize.
And strategize. So I was there. So they know me. And when I went to London, I didn't sleep. I went and called J.H. Mensah, I called Kojom Pieni, I called Bayan Nguma, and we started forming the basis. Though politics had not been allowed in Ghana, we were operating it. And then we started training some of my colleagues. So by the time, and we pushed We pushed Jerry John Rawlings. He wasn't, well, he did his best to go, but we had to push him. You remember hand over to whom? We asked him to prepare the country for democracy, hand over to whom? People forget all these things, that yeah, he did well by going. It's not easy to leave power, but we also pushed it. And so the elders have also looked at my caliber, and I think I'm on the soundtrack. But of course, as you said, John said, the fear delegates.
Fear delegates.
And that's why you have to show respect to your colleagues. That's why you have to be humble enough. That's why you have to sell your message. And that's why you have to work with all of us. I give an example of when I used to sell bread at Asafo Market. My mom does the bread, and I had to go and sell some. And I had a friend called Atenga who used to sell ice kinky. I realized that when they buy the bread, and the bus is taken off from Asafo Market to, say, Goso or Kukum or something, bread, blah, 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 and I'll go. Then they'll be looking for the ice kinky person because he goes with it. Then they can't find Atenga. So then they say, oh, no, I'm not buying. So I was losing money. So I said to Atenga, you know what, give me part of the ice kinky to carry. So when they buy my bread, there's an ice kinky with me. You also take some of the ice cream, the bread. And your bread. And that made us sell our products very quickly, our goods very quickly. My mom was surprised. I explained to my mom how I have formed a partnership. This is the key to everything in Ghana. Ghanaians here, we like to be a little bit on our own. If there's a business, they want to be on their own. The danger, though, I've learned, is that when you have somebody to come with you, you're not sure what they will do. And our problem is management level. An entrepreneur will bring money, or a creative person will bring an idea, and they bring money. But who manages it? The person thinks, it's a time to rip him off. So they'll be stealing. By the time you, the investor, realize your money is disappeared. So we have a gap of filling the management role. And so it is a partnership. If you team up and you give part of your authority to a colleague, a friend, a sister, a brother, then you pool resources together, your brains work together. I went to Cornwall Secondary School. Benuye means two heads are better than one, isn't it? So me and Benuye, we sold our goods.
So you and the delegates will also do Benuye and sell the NPP
and win power.
Okay. Message coming in. Ghana will surely work against the word of NDC. We thank the MPP majority led by First Deputy Speaker for properly taking steps to right the wrongs of last Friday. That's your opinion. Asabi is the right man for the NPP chairman position. His legacy at Mankesim as an MP for Infantsman constituency, and now SIGA makes him the right person for the NPP chairmanship. That's Silas Odum from Mankesim sending us that message. Thank you for doing so. My next question would be, if you're seeking to be chairman, it means, I presume, that you've noticed some gaps in your current system which you intend to plug. Tell us about those.
I would rather I engage my party people detailed on when I go on my rounds than to say it now. They know, everybody knows there's a gap. And it is a part of our history since the Fourth Republican administration that you have the first term. When you get the back-to-back second term, everybody expects to be satisfied. And this is the thing. Everybody thinks that, hey, there's a goodies out there, let's get some. And if they don't, they get angry with you. So they back off. Then the opposition, who has been there in opposition for nearly 2 terms, are more hungrier, and they seem to be in a much more fighting spirit, and then the power changes hands. This has been the pattern. So I cannot be putting my head in the sand like an ostrich and think there's no disconnection. There is. I listen to people. They think that we are not listening to them, those of us who are at the top. They think that we are not employing most of them in employment. They think that we are not coming down to them at the grassroots. They think that when they come to Accra, it is a struggle to meet us. So there's a lot going on. And we try, some of us try, but it's not enough from one angle. It has to be a collective work. And the president is doing so much, but they are not even selling the message. They are not even enthused. The communication aspect of our government is a little bit weak. And so we can realize, I mean, I've been a minister, I know what's going on. And so you need to get the party strong to back the president's actions. If the party cannot sell or cannot market what we are doing, who is coming to do it for them? Look at what they are doing in Parliament. You think they like us? They don't. And it's become a fight because they also want to get to power. All they are doing is to make it uncomfortable for us. And sometimes even throw away the budget as they claim, which didn't happen, and we had to correct the wrong. It is to embarrass us. The Ghanaians, look at them, they can't run the economy. Listen, MPP, we ourselves brought this on ourselves. If we had done our homework well, and there are certain seats we could have easily won, and we had not imposed candidates on us, we could have easily come to power. The typical example was Formina. Now he's the decision maker. The stone that was thrown away become the cornerstone. It's interesting how the world moves, but it's a lesson to us. Hey, sit down. Forget about the fights. Our personal matter should not crowd as a party what we can deliver to Ghanaians, and we are the better managers of the Ghanaian economy.
Because you keep referring to the budget issue, and if time would allow, my producer would allow us a few minutes to spend on this issue. Haruna Iddrisu, minority leader in Parliament, described yesterday as a dark day for Ghana's constitutional parliamentary democratic practice, because those in power, so he's referring to the majority, are seeking to govern. Who are seeking to govern are seeking to approbate and reprobate at the same time. He said that if you're seeking equity, you must do equity, and he who comes to equity must come with clean hands, and your own hands are not clean. I'm asking this because you've referenced the 2022 budget and the incidents in Parliament a few times, and I just want to throw in the issues being raised by the minority as well over what happened in Parliament yesterday, and their concerns that even the first Deputy Speaker could not be counted as a member once he was sitting in the chair.
That's not true.
As Speaker.
That's not true. Haruna is a young man. I'm older than him. Not only that, I know politics more than Haruna. He's my friend. I talk to him quite often, and he helped me pass the cigar law. But Haruna, relative to me, is a novice. When there's a member of parliament representing a group of people in Bekwai, how can you count him out? The fact that he's sitting there doesn't mean he doesn't represent a group of people. They have gotten this all misconstrued. So they should come again. You see, because we have allowed them to get to the 137 from 169, and we ourselves dropped our own constituencies. I'm telling you. And that's why they got the affronted to talk the way they talk. A developing country needs a government with a clear majority. Let me take you back to England. When the Labour Party was in government, Ted Heath, 79, and Labour Party had almost run down the economy of the United Kingdom, and they had the winter of discontent. History is there. I'm giving you all these pointers. Go and type in Google the winter of discontent. It will tell you how the Labour Party had run the country now in UK. And Mrs. Thatcher was coming in. She is also a grocerist daughter. You know, groceries and bakers, we are the same. We know the fundamentals and rudimentary of livelihood, how to survive. So Margaret Thatcher came, strong lady. And she had to have a clear majority, and she did. Without a clear majority, she couldn't. She became an iron lady or strong woman because of the majority. Indeed, when the baton passed on to John Major, and John Major lost the majority to about 7 or 9, John Major was described as a grey man, as a no decision taker. Because as soon as he tries anything to move, his own party backbench, some of them would defect. I'm just saying that, and then there was nothing until Tony Blair came in from Labour. Then he had a clear majority. So if you are developing a country, and in our case, you need a clear majority. Because it's our manifesto. It's a government. We have brought our budget. Did Haruna Iddrisu bring the budget? Is that his budget?
But your manifesto is quite different from the budget being presented, which would contain the financial plan for how the country, the whole country's money is going to be
but it's based on our manifesto, which the people of Ghana voted for us. But of course, we have to translate the manifesto into policy, and we work with the public service and the civil servants. So they've shaped it for us. But we are leading. We are the ones who went to seek power from the people, and they're expecting us to give an account. And we should come and you decide how our budget is put together.
But isn't that the essence of Parliament, to have opposing views and to listen? And the finance minister yesterday even made the point, even yesterday on the floor of Parliament, he made the point that he had hoped that the engagement which he was seeking to have with the minority would have been allowed to happen. But it did not happen. So consultations, even going by the finance minister's assertions, is crucial.
It is. I mean, nobody is in this particular era. Let me say, yes, we need majority. We haven't got it, so we are not going to fight and assume that we have to do this. No, we are not going to do that, because we ourselves have allowed our situation to come to this level. So it's calling for us to compromise. So it's a compromise situation. But in going forward, we need a clear majority to move the country faster and quicker. What we are seeking to do is to create jobs. And the message on the streets, I mean, the reason why there's a disconnect even in the party and ourselves is jobs. I'm telling you, jobs. If people have got jobs to do and they are making money, why would they be unhappy with your government? Because you have created an environment, but there's and then COVID did not help us. You see, the high reductions for getting COVID. Most Western worlds are now even shutting down again. And they forget all this context. So
indeed, we were meant to have Mr. Kofi Adams coming into the studio to speak to some of the issues being raised by the minority, which the minority leader Haruna Idrisu voiced at that press conference yesterday. Unfortunately, he is unable to join us for that conversation. But I'm happy that you're going there because going by what I listened to from Mr. Idrisu and the notes that I've made here, perhaps I can attempt to get some input for us to all to get a broader understanding. And I'll come back to you, Honorable B, to conclude this discussion. For now, we're going over to the Kotoka International Airport. Interesting things are happening in the Volta region. Passion Air is making its first commercial flight to the capital of the Volta region. So Ho is getting its first commercial touchdown from Passion Airline this morning. And our team is at Kotoka now as we speak, and they want to share updates with us. Kafui will be leading that conversation, and when the team is ready, we'll come back to you. Honorable, you were talking about all the issues that Honorable Idrisu is not privy to because he's a junior to you in parliamentary affairs. He called yesterday's happenings a constitutional arithmetic, and he's saying his point was that the numbers, if you indeed voted and got 137, that is still not a clear majority on the members of the House.
It was 138. The half of the parliament present is it's 275. Half of it is 137.5. Since we have to round it up, it's 138. And the member of parliament of Bekwai, who has a constituency to serve, yes, had to occupy the seat. So whatever it is, see, they're playing with numbers.
So even if with your permission, even if the first deputy speaker were to pass the present vote, so if he were to pass the test of members present and he were to pitch his tent and said, I MP of Bekwai, I am in the House, I have been counted as such. If that test were to pass, it leaves the test of voting. And if there is indeed 138 members in Parliament, then we would ask, how many people voted to pass the budget? The number would come to, from my own analysis, and I'm not a parliamentarian, I do not claim to be an expert on parliamentary issues, but from a regular count, it would come to 137. And the orders tell us that where there is no clear winner in any matter, then the conversation should be deemed to be lost.
With all humility, with all respect to my own young brother, Haruna Idrisu. Haruna, if you are listening to me, I respect you. You are one of the best minority leaders. So you will be, for the next election, you will be minority leader. Because I am going to ensure you stay there. With all humility, let me address you again. Don't play with numbers. Don't play with. We have the vulnerable Ghanaians waiting for us. We have free education waiting for us. We have 1D, 1F matter coming up. We have the NEIP that we should create jobs. That is the crust of the matter. You can debate and debate and debate. In fact, they are even threatening to take it to the committee level. It is because they know that we are neck and neck. Look, and this is the problem. And maybe if we were probably in the same position, we would have done that. I don't know. It is, you see, this is where Ghanaians, please, when we are voting, let's be clear. What do we want out of these two parties? What do we want? We must be clear. Of the two parties, we are the party NPP. That manages the economy well. Take from President Kufuor. When we came, the economy had been run down so much that we had to go to HEPIC. I was there, HEPIC. When Linda Choka, the Minister for Overseas Development from UK came and laid bare the fundamentals of the economy to us, we couldn't even import crude oil. We didn't have enough reserve to import crude even for 3 months. So President Kufuor had to rush to Obasanjo in Nigeria to give us a 90-day credit without even paying. The country would have come to a halt. And then we grew the economy up to a certain, then we moved even, we created national health insurance. We then moved the economy from 3.7 growth to 7.8 growth. And then we found oil, a booster. And what did they do with the booster? dissipate it. So we are the better managers. And then President Akufo-Addo comes in, the National Health Insurance, they collapse it, they let a lot of debt, and you have to pay all the debt. They should ask Hannah, tell me, what has NDC, in terms of social intervention from Jerry John Rawlings' time to Professor Mills to Mahama, what single social intervention have they brought that is still existing in Ghana? Tell me. None.
Well,
None.
the analysis of the economy, because the other side is
we
not
have to
here.
do our homework well and appeal to the Ghanaians that, look, we can manage the economy better. Yes, you may be angry with us by one or two decisions here and there, but as a collective group, it either goes to NDC or NPP. I mean, there's no third party coming anywhere.
Because it's such a disputed debate, it's the more reason why we wanted the Honorable Kofi Adams to be at the table to sort of pick up on some of the issues.
We can organize that. Don't worry about me. I can debate anyone. I can debate any one of them.
So we are still talking about the numbers. The order, the Article 104 is the one that everyone keeps referring to, and the Standing Order 109 of Parliament. And both sides have quoted this. And I've asked this of the Majority Leader on Monday, and I asked this of the Deputy Chief Whip of the Minority who was at the table yesterday, that everyone is quoting the same law. And so for regular Ghanaians who may not have the full benefit of a full understanding of parliamentary proceedings, we are very confused, and we are asking ourselves, how can two people quote the same law and yet interpret them so differently?
As politics for you. If you leave politicians, that's what they do. They play ping pong. So give us clear majority.
So it's all just about politics then?
Listen to the language. When they are in opposition, the language is the same. When they are in government, the language is the same.
What do you think are you bringing to the table?
So give us a clear majority. Let's run the country. We can get to a point, indeed.
There's a question here from someone who's watching and says, do you think you have what it takes to break the 8? It's a term that the NPP has coined to win the next election and go beyond, to do what no other party has done since the start of the 1992 Constitution, to serve more than 2 terms in power. So do you think you have what it takes to break the 8, considering how unpopular your party is becoming these days? That's your opinion. So opinions expressed on this platform represent people's opinions, not that of GBC. Congratulations, my incoming chairman. Wonderful delivery. We are proud of you. Charlie, you widened the chairmanship gap brutal. That's from Bob Charles in Dansoman. Same Bob is saying 138 is the number required to initiate a vote. But even 100 can vote and it is acceptable. And that's Bob Charles again sending us that message. Thank you for sending your messages across to us. Our WhatsApp number is 05555 And so how do you intend to break the 8? If you do indeed get the chairmanship, how do you even win it in the first place? Because you need to do that before you can step up to the challenge of winning the next election.
Of course, you clear the first hurdle before you look at it. But whilst you are doing that, you keep an eye on that one. And you keep an eye on the opposition too.
And whilst you're keeping an eye on the opposition, let's quickly go to the airport. I beg your pardon, Honourable Member. Let's quickly go to the International Airport, where Kafri Day is standing by with that Passion Airline flight making its first commercial journey to the Volta regional capital of Ho. Kaf, welcome.
Hello, Thelma. Thank you very much. We are on the bus heading towards the Passion Air flight. I have with me the sales and marketing manager of Passion Air, Samuel Abdul Razak Techi. It must be a proud moment for you, Razak. Today, the 1st of December, first flight to Ho on Passion Air.
Exactly so. We are operating our maiden flight to Ho, and then tomorrow we'll do as well. So this flight is going to Ho, and then we have a short ceremony in Ho.
What does this mean for Passion Air to be flying direct from Accra to Ho?
You know, in Ho we would have Ho actually is our first commercial flight, because no commercial flight has actually operated to Ho. So this is the first time an airline is operating a commercial service to Ho. And I believe that the flight services is going to open up the region, is going to bring investment. Ho is a tourist hub, it's a conference hub in Ghana, and I believe that with the air services that have been that will be supplied to the region is going to boost up investment opportunities.
How long is the travel time from Accra to Ho?
It's actually 40 minutes, but the flight time itself is 20 minutes, but the block time is 40 minutes.
Okay. And then after today's flight, you're doing WA. How long will WA be?
We're doing WA through Tamale, so it's going to be Accra, Tamale, WA, and then WA, Tamale, Accra. The flights to Ho, for instance, will be on Saturdays and Sundays. That is twice weekly. And then the WA will be 3 times weekly. That's on Mondays, Fridays, and Wednesdays. Yeah.
What do you have to tell to people who are thinking of going to the Volta region and are dreading that 5-hour road trip?
Ho is just 40 minutes away. Once you board Passion Air, you are just 40 minutes away from Ho. So I would ask our customers who haven't even been to Ho before to come fly with us and enjoy our services.
Samuel Abdul Razak Techi is the sales and marketing manager for Passion Air. And we are just about to board the inaugural flight to Ho, the capital of the Volta region. And watch out if you're thinking of going to WA. The WA service starts tomorrow. That will be 3 times a week. Ho is twice a week, Saturdays and Sundays. But we are doing special because it's a Wednesday. We are doing the inaugural flight. And so we'll see you, God willing, in Ho in about 40 minutes time. And reporting live for GTV Breakfast. This is me, Kafui, on the bus heading towards the plane.
Thank you, Kaf. Exciting times for you. The inaugural flight, Passion Air, going into the Volta Regional Capital Ho twice weekly, Saturday, Sunday. They're beginning a WA service, so Accra, Tamale, WA, and the reverse, 3 times a week. So you might want to check out the deals from Passion Air, and GBC is proud to be associated with that airline. We still have
him to bring me Abolo and Adode.
I'm sure we can arrange that because very soon we are coming to Cape Coast, so we'll expect a
And then
return.
the WA2, I have a network there. My wife is from Sisala, the beautiful Zuleika. And there's a hotel at Jirapa. I went there for a funeral. Super. If we can get the WA airport function, Ghanaians will go. There's a lovely place in Jirapa. They call it Jirapa Dubai. It's fantastic. But because you have to go drive all the way, nobody wants to go.
There's a Northern Development Summit that took place there in Jirapa, Dubai.
Brilliant place. And we should support such an investor.
Okie dokes. So that's flying. That's for flights going to Ho Saturday, Sunday, twice weekly by Passion Airline. CAF and the team are going on that flight and they'll be landing in Ho. Flight time is 40 minutes, but it will actually take 20 from what we are being told. Still in the studio with us is the Honorable Stephen Asama-Boateng, NPP chairman aspirant and still Director General of SIGA, at least for the next few days. And he's been talking to us about his decision and most recently in the last few minutes about the minority's decision to set out the vote in Parliament yesterday, which led the majority to approve the budget. And so the numbers again are key, Honorable. And the 137, if you look at it on face value, if the NDCs claim that they passed, they rejected their term, the ballot with 137, and the NPP claims that it approved
with 138.
But 138 would mean that the first deputy speaker cast a vote, which is against the orders, the standing orders of Parliament.
True, and that's why maybe let's leave. They will come here. There should be, and as I said, in law, 2 people can look at the same law and miss it and interpret it differently. That's why we need a judge, and the judge is the Ghanaian. The judge is the voting. So let's move away from here. Judges, Ghanaians.
But you said you can debate anybody. I'm just asking the question.
Them when they're here. It's unfair for them not to be here and
yes,
debating. So,
it is. And that's why we are trying to get Kofi Adams in the studio today to make their case.
Yeah,
unfortunately, he was not able to do it.
I wasn't even aware this was a major topic for me. I mean, I've been reading.
It's not,
I keep abreast with what's going on, and I've been reading. I've been a member of Parliament, so I know the rules there. But I'm just saying that let's have somebody to debate. But going forward, it is my belief that if Ghanaians want the country to move on, and I believe we do, then let's mandate one party that has the capacity to deliver. And we have shown by President Kufuor, by President Akufo-Addo, the administrations that we can deliver. And if we can deliver, then my party people must draw the line. That whatever your personal interest is, yes, you might be, but that's why you need a party people that listens to them.
So what do you bring to the table for this chairmanship position, and what do you bring to the table where the NPP's quest to break the 80 concern?
I bring teamwork. I've already told you my own upbringing and what I've done. I bring teamwork, I bring coordination, I bring understanding, I bring energy, new energy, I can run, you know. I do 10 kilometers. I used to do 15. Now I do 10 kilometers every morning when I'm in the car. If I'm in Kromanti, I run from Kromanti to Abanzi on the beach. If I bring energy, but I bring motivation, I bring excitement. I mean, at the end of the day, party is about love of each other. We come together as a group of people. Nobody put a gun on your head to join us. So you are here, understand that it's a fundamental principle that we follow. And we believe in freedom, we believe in the liberty of the individual, we believe in private enterprise. And this is us. And that's why Passion Private Enterprise. I mean, in our time, who is now having its first flight? Why is now going to have a private enterprise? What we need to do is get our base behind us. So I'm bringing those energy, motivation, excitement, but most importantly is the message I'm carrying. Is the message. What is the need for all of us? Not me. Yes, I may be chairman, but if I don't get the backing of my party grassroots and the party executives and the government, I cannot succeed. So we work as a team. And so I have to be humble and respectful and make sure we work together. In gelling together, your people talk, but there must be a time we make a decision and we follow our government. We follow our leaders. I'm bringing a message. First message is communication. We must couch our communication well and be proactive. And when we are in the defense, it's robust. We must have that. So we attack with proactiveness and defend robustly. Then we have what the second message I'm carrying is intelligence and research work. If we don't have our intelligence working well, and we can track what the opposition is doing, they are also smart, you know that. In politics, everybody's being outsmarting each other. So intelligence and data, I know everything that the opposition is up to. I can tell you, some of them are even my relatives. So we talk and I pick. So they also talk, they also pick, but we need to be smarter and faster. And Asabi brings that. Then the last but not the least is organization. That one I learned it from the CPP, I can tell you that. When I went into exile in Abidjan, I lived with a Blaise, Lucy Blay and Leo Blay and Fedis. So the outgoing chairman, that's why I'm stepping into his shoes.
So you think you have the blessing of Freddie Blay in this contest?
Freddie is my brother. I call him a brother. When I was under attack by Jerry John Rollins and I ran into Abidjan, I had to, because otherwise I would have been. I went to Abidjan and I live in Cocody and Treasury Arras with Leo, Uncle Leo. I've learned from Freddie's family. And Atamame is my mother. And so Freddie, I've seen him. We talked. I will say I have his blessings, but I will say that he's okay with me. He's open and he's asked me to do my best. And he's giving me the opportunity to also go and explain. He cannot give me the vote by himself. The people there can give me the vote. But at least he hasn't stopped me. And he has given me a good body language feeling that, yes, you can do this job. So, Freddie, thank you very much. But it's not just Freddie. Even my colleagues, we're talking. We keep on talking. I tell my people not to attack anybody because at the end of the day, it's a family matter. We need a team that gets together. So after the election, we have to form together. I am carrying the best message. I am the one with the energy. I'm the one with the acumen and also understand the party. When I was 18 years, I didn't come in when the party was in government.
You speak as if you already know who your opponents are. And so you say you have the best message, you have the best strategy, and you have the best, and you have...
So you want me to name my opponents? Why should I advertise my opponents on set? But don't worry, they are my brothers. But they are my brothers. I mean, it's common knowledge, so there's nothing to hide. It's my own brother, Stephen, in team. Indeed, we share the same Stephen. And then my brother-in-law, that's funny. My brother-in-law, Professor, I call him Professor. That's how my grandmother, Amadapa, I said, Professor. So, Professor, he may know one or two things I don't know, but I think I'll beat him. Right. So I know them, and we talk. We talk a lot.
Asabi, Honorable Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, thank you for honoring the invitation, and we wish you well in your contest to be
before I go,
NPP
let me congratulate GBC. Let me congratulate you. You've done extremely well. With the limited resources, you've moved a lot. Today when I came in, I was ushered into the waiting area. It's a posh place. The furniture it's a tear rubber. I said tear rubber. I said,
somebody said blind new.
Blind new. Professor Hassan, thank you. We came to Kwahu and we made GBC present itself, and he got a standing ovation. He got a standing ovation at Kwahu and Kotia. That's how far GBC has come. And so you've done well. And I've seen the painting going on. I'm going to talk to the Minister for Roads. He should come and do the road. Give you a new road. So that when you step into GVC, this is the station of the nation. And I'm going to also get him to do the Kumasi one, the Garden City one. At least that is what I can even, when I become a party chairman, I can have an influence. And ministers will come.
Promises already.
Well, it's not a problem. I know them. And we can talk. And we can then budget for it. And we'll try to do that.
Thank you for your time, Honorable. We wish you a happy, blessed day. And I'm sure we'll have you back at this table in the near future. The Honorable Stephen Asamoah Boateng is the Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority for the next few days at least, after which he will be throwing his hat into the NPP chairmanship race in the quest to win another election for the ruling NPP, and he's hoping to get support to do just that. You're still watching Breakfast on GTV. Valerie is ready on the warmer side. She did not particularly like this side of the table, so she's back on the warmer side, and she's having a conversation with winners of the Ghana Gas Challenge. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
He has a drink filled with malt. Every day he has a drink filled with malt and milk. Every day he has a drink filled with malt, milk.
For my G's, yeah. On.
to be doing a quick detour. We're going to be going to Kafui Day. Kafui Day is on the flight that's going to Ho, the first inaugural flight that's going to Ho. And so we're going to be speaking to Kafui pretty shortly. I hear they were the first, our crew was the first team that actually checked in first, and so we're going to be going to him shortly, and then we'll see what that looks like in flight. Maybe you speak to a couple of passengers, and so that's coming up shortly. But the show is made possible by Awake Purified Water, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, Shield Acrylic Paint, Airtel Tigo responsible for this part of the show, and CAF is ready now. CAF. Good morning, Kafui. Good morning, Kaf.
Flight heading to barely sitting strapped, ready. As is the situation these days, and it's in about 20 minutes we should be in. Now, when we get to Ho, we'll speak with the
Hopefully we'll get back and speak to CAF before we end the show. So joining me on set, I have the winners of the Ghana Gas Challenge quiz competition. We're going to meet them pretty shortly. But remember, the show is made possible by Airtel Tigo, and so we'll take a quick break. Welcome back. And so for the Ghana Gas Challenge quiz competition, if you don't have a high IQ, if you don't get ahead, you can't participate in this competition. So I'm going to be showing you who my guests are. I have the winners in studio. They are from UMAT, actually. And so I have Mame Abba Kwedri Abedu. She's a petroleum engineering student from the Industry of Mines and Technology, Takwa. I have Justice Apia Nyama. He's also a petroleum engineering student, University of Mines and Technology. And then I have to my far right, Augustina. She's a senior manager for the Ghana Gas, but she's in the Government and Relationships Department. And then I have, of course, the man who is in charge of mentoring these students and tutoring them for them to come out tops, Dr. Richard Amorin. He's a senior lecturer at the Department of Petroleum and Natural Gas Engineering. So, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Coach. Tell us the amount of work that went into putting your team together and emerging tops.
All right, thank you very much, Valerie. Let me take this opportunity to appreciate management of the University of Mines and Technology, especially the Vice Chancellor, Professor Richard Kwesi Amankwa, who has supported the team all this time. And for UMAT, we are noted for excellence. So we are a center of excellence beyond the borders of Ghana and beyond. For the gas challenge, when we won in 2019, it wasn't more of a difficult task because it was the first time. But trying to defend it actually came with a lot of challenges. Looking at issues with COVID, not having easy interaction with students in terms of face-to-face interaction. So we did what we usually do. Our programs are such that we give our students the opportunity to be able to become more adaptive, critical thinkers. They are able to have some practical hands-on with their work. So combining with the challenge wasn't too difficult a thing to do. So I believe the kind of training we give them has actually helped them to be able to come this far.
Okay, but the UMAT, this is the second time UMAT is winning.
Yes.
The first time was when the challenge was first instituted. That was in 2019, and UMAT won.
Yes.
2020, because of COVID, was shelved.
Yes.
2021, you're winners again. So what are you doing differently from the other teams?
I would say it's the kind of training we give our students. We try as much as possible to combine the theoretical with the practical aspect. Then we also ensure that in our teaching delivery, we add more critical thinking to our things.
So that's what makes it different from everybody else.
So you think beyond the classroom, you think beyond the book, you think beyond the handout given. So that makes them to be able to almost always answer any question that comes to them.
So it doesn't mean that you two, you are sharks. You are science. You are a shark in science. You are a shark in math. You are the best female students in the whole competition, Mami, right?
Yes, please.
How do you feel about that?
I'm excited to know that out of other female contestants that were presented by other institutions, I came out as the best. That shows that there's a difference between the training I'm being given in my institution and theirs. And so for my victory as the best female participant, I would thank the Almighty God first of all, and also thank my Vice Chancellor, the Dean, my coach, other lecturers, and my school at large for supporting me to come this far.
Oh, what's that? Justice, what do you think gave you the edge over the other contesting teams?
Okay, so I would say it's the training we have at UMAT. In UMAT, you are taught to reason beyond the classroom. And so I think what helped us win this competition is the knowledge we are being given at the classroom, and clearly you could see from yesterday's competition that it got to a time it was very keen, and we had to do our magic again.
Okay.
So I would say it's what we are being taught at the classroom that helped or made a difference.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Augustine, it's your department that began this whole drive. Why did you decide to embark on the gas challenge quiz? What inspired the creation?
Thank you, Valerie. I think let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my boss, the Honorable Kennedy Japan, my CEO, Dr. Ben K.D. Asante, and definitely my gas challenge committee. They did a yeoman's job. Obviously, I'm the chairperson of the committee, and I take the credit, but they did most of the hard work. So
Teamwork.
a shout out to them. Well, actually, it was based on a few reasons. One, as a company since the inception, we realized that there is this gap between the academia and the industry. So it was necessary for us to find a vehicle to bridge that gap. Secondly, we also realized that, in order for us as Ghanaians to be able to have control and take control of our own destiny, our own industry, we need to make sure that we equip young people to take over the baton. So that means we need to look and scout for the best of the best in the country to help
Lead
us
the
manage
drive,
this
yeah.
industry. Thirdly, we also realized that the gas related reportage by the media was not always, with enough information. So we realized
there's a huge gap.
Yeah, because it's relatively new. Gas is new for us as a country. So we could imagine that also for the media practitioners, there were some challenges there in terms of the reporting. So we also needed to help them in the education and also educate the general public about the use of gas and also what we do as a company. Because this year we've been existing, the Ghana Gas, we've been existing for 10 years. So it's also important for people to know what we do. So these were the reasons why we came with that idea. So my team and I were brainstorming about it, and we decided what kind of vehicle can we really use that is all very educated but also entertaining, that people don't feel too forced to learn all these technicalities and all these jargons.
Terms, yeah.
And that's how this concept was basically born in 2019. And when we did that, we started with the stakeholders engagement in June 2019, when we engaged the media, which GBC was part of the participants, and then the civil society organizations also, such as PIAC, was also part of the participants, and our regulators, and also obviously the driver of our policy, which is the Energy Ministry. And in that context, the Energy Ministry won. And then we moved to the tertiary institutions in October that same year. And also, so what we do is we do zonal contest, where we move to Kumasi, where you have UNAIR and all nations, and then came to competing in Kumasi. And then in last 2 years, we went to Takwa, instead of Takrady. And then the UMAT, TTU, and UCC met there. And then the Accra one, we had Regional Maritime, and then also Ghana Communication Telecom University, and UG also competing. So all these zonal contests, the winners then meet at the finals. So that's what we witnessed, for instance, yesterday as well. And interestingly, the same winners from the various zones also was the same in 2019 as well. Yes.
You guys are trying, like science and math, not my forte. I tend to run away from it all the time. Doc, this is a question everybody. We asked the last time Enoch and his guy came here. We threw out to our viewers. We got funny questions. But is gas liquid? Did I ask you that when in your quiz? Or it's too easy. This is too easy.
That would be too easy.
Okay. So liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, is it liquid? Is it gas? Like, Doc, please school us. For the ordinary Ghanaians like myself, please school us. Because when we shake the cylinder, you can feel it's liquid.
The liquid aspect. So it's basically gas which has been compressed. So the more you compress, the gas comes together. And as they get very close to each other, it behaves like a liquid. But if you reduce that pressure again, they are free to move. They become more or less active. So that you see it coming out as gas because the pressure has been reduced. But if you try to compress that again, it behaves as if it's liquid. But in actual fact, it is a gas.
So for those of us like me who didn't know, we've just gotten some bit of information and education that it's actually gas, and if it's compressed, it just shakes and then it feels like liquid. So what are the prizes you guys are taking home?
We get the opportunity to undertake our national service with the Ghana Gas, and then we also have our library to be refurbished, as well as new laptops and then a cash prize.
Right, and obviously trophy, and we'll also do a tour at the gas processing plant for them to actually see what happens there.
Okay, so we have the video. This video is going on now. This is from yesterday's event. This is from yesterday's event, right? So the videos we have there are from yesterday's event, and there they are, the winners. Oh, yes. So what's the feeling like for you? That's the trophy. That's, oh wow. Can I feel it? This is the closest I'm going to get to meeting academic. Oh wow. So the gas challenge winner it's quite heavy, 2021. And so what are you guys, you're in a pretty, the age bracket you are in now is where a lot of attention is being drawn to now, especially when it comes to academia. What are you going to say to your peers out there, or probably younger people who are younger than you, that are looking at you now as role models?
The little I have to say to them is to do their very best in anything that they find themselves in, because with this challenge that was publicized, it gave the opportunity to quite a number of people, but then because of low confidence, or because sometimes we feel we are unable to do certain things, people didn't take the step to participate in the competition. And I believe some of them would regret it, because taking the step gives you the opportunity to, let's say, undertake your national service program with the Ghana Gas Company, and as well as other opportunities that you may have. So I'll tell them to take bold steps and be confident, and also try to involve yourselves in educative and innovative events, because they will take you far.
Take bold steps and be confident. Justice.
Valerie, did you know that when we did 2019 in Takwa, the university made her serve as an usher for us?
Yeah.
No joke.
And now, 2 years later, she is.
Oh, wow. Justice, how about you? Any words for your peers and people younger than you watching you?
Okay, personally, I would say initially I had problem doing stuff in public, and so partaking in the gas challenge has really helped me build my confidence. And so I would like to say to everyone out there watching us that if I can do it, obviously you can do it. So it's all comes, like, you have to take the step. If you don't take the step, you won't enjoy what we are enjoying now.
I like that. Okay, Doc, any final words before we wrap up? Maybe you want to speak to the rest of your students?
Yes, thank you once again. I wish to appreciate management very much for the support, especially the Vice Chancellor once again, Professor Richard Kwesiamapa, my Dean, Professor Michael Afam, then my Head of Department, Dr. Harrison Ose, and all the teaching staff of the school. I also want to appreciate all the supporters who came. It was a very long journey, but they still came to support. We are very grateful to you. And everyone looking for a program to read, especially in engineering. Our doors are open. The 2021-2022 admissions are still ongoing. So if you want to do any program in engineering, our doors are open. You can apply. And I believe that one day you'll also be sitting here with us. Thank you very much.
Augustina?
Well, I think it's in order as organizers to also thank our partners, which GBC is a very important partner for us and has been since the inception. But I can name all of them, obviously. But also the participating institutions, because when we started this 2 years ago, we didn't realize, you know, how people patronage this program, and it has been beyond our expectations, and we can only be very grateful. Yesterday, the energy there was amazing. The invited guests, they were like in awe. And this initiative has also awarded us, if you will, that's given us an award from the Ghana Energy Awards, which we are very grateful for, which is the Student Impacts Program for the Tertiary Institutions Award. So that tells you that as a company, Ghana Gas, we have something good on our hands, and what we can guarantee our fans, or I should say, for want of a better word, and also the institutions, the integrity of the quiz. I mean, they can bear witness in terms of how we have handled the questions, and everything is being done by the committee. And we are very grateful also to our quiz mistress and also the consultants involved. Right. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Augustina. Thank you guys, the winning team, for coming in. We are wishing you success. And one day, I'm pegging you for next year's when you win again. Justice, what say you? Right, so we've been spending the last part of our breakfast with the winners from the the Gas Challenge Quiz Competition, and the winners, UMAT. So we have Mame Abba Kwejriabedu, we have Justice Apia Nyama, and then we have the Dr. Richard Amorin. He's a senior lecturer at Department of Petroleum and Natural Gas Engineering. And then we have Augustina Sario. So she is the senior manager, Government Relations Department, Ghana Gas Company, and that's how we served you breakfast. T, you want to say something before we end?
Yes, congratulations to the winning team, and good luck in the next stage of your endeavors as well. We want to say a big thank you to all of you who watched us, who sent us messages, and we did invite the Honorable Kofi Adams to be on the show to speak on the 2022 budget issues being raised by the minority side of the House. He had indicated his readiness to join us, but this morning, unfortunately, he was not able to do that. So we'll seek to engage both sides further as we seek to improve all our knowledge on what the happenings in Parliament mean for our country in 2022. Thank you for being a part of our morning. Hopefully you are flying safe as CAF is on Passion Airlines this morning to Ho, and you fly safe through the rest of your day until we meet again at 6 a.m. tomorrow. It's #GTV Breakfast.
Bye.